gets it. People are looking to buy a home right now. What do?
Oh, it's a great question, and it's a tight real estate market right now. I think most people know that, especially if you're actively looking to buy a house. Maybe you're on Zillow, Realtor.com, you got the apps on your phone, you're stalking them at work, and you're waiting for that right house to hit the market. Well, when it does, you better be pre-approved, and you better be pre-approved by a strong mortgage lender like the Home Loan Expert team. If you think you're the only one watching those same neighborhoods and watching those same streets, you're dead wrong. There's a lot of people out there waiting and watching. When that house hits the market, boom, goes under contract fast. Get pre-approved today at thehomeloanexpert.com, and you'll give yourself a big advantage when you do find that house. Go in there, get in there with your agent. You like it, write an offer, throw the pre-approval on the table. You should get an accepted contract. I'm Ryan Kelly, the Home Loan Expert. No one makes buying a home easier. Get pre-approved at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC.
You don't remember days, you remember moments. But when the old tapes and photos that hold your cherished memories degrade, or worse, you lose them, they're gone forever. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve those irreplaceable moments.
Load your Legacy Box with your old tapes, film, pictures, and audio, and send them in. You'll get them back on DVD or a convenient thumb drive.
Visit legacybox.com/USA. And for a limited time, you'll get 40% off your order. legacybox.com/USA.
Hey, at 5:07 on AM 560, The Answer, checking the roads from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Kevin Henry.
Good morning, Tom. No trouble at all on the Edens or Kennedys so far. The Ike, clear both directions, 29 minutes to and from 390. Now, the outbound Stevenson has a crash at Cicero, off to the left side, not causing a delay. 24 to the Tri-State, 34 to 355, inbound looking okay. Also clear on the Ryan, inbound I-57 slows from 99th, 21 minutes from I-80. The inbound Ford taking you 20 as well, slow from Stony Island. Clear on Lakeshore Drive, though you do have the Taste of Chicago setup, closing Jackson between Columbus and Lakeshore Drive. No trouble at all on the tollways. Traffic, a service of Compassion International. You can't change the world, but you can be part of the change in the world for a child living in poverty by becoming a Compassion International child sponsor. You can choose a child to sponsor now at compassion.com/radio. That's compassion.com/radio. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Kevin Henry on AM 560, The Answer.
Kevin, thanks. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Now, your official Chicagoland forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Garrett Beck.
It'll be more humid today. We'll have partial sunshine with a high 89. Partly cloudy tonight, warm and humid with a low 73. Then for tomorrow, partly sunny, hot and humid. There'll be a thunderstorm around in the afternoon. The high will be 90. I'm Garrett Beck on AM 560, The Answer.
Right now it's fair, 65 at O'Hare and 65 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update at 5:30, continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Saturdays at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Happy Independence Day Eve. Dan Proft is my name. And sitting in for Amy J this morning is a man so opposed to the central government that he will not even go see the play Hamilton. He is Sean from Elmwood Park.
It's true.
You need to turn your microphone on there, Professor.
I mean, does this kid do anything? It's true. And I love when John Cass is in, but is this mustard? What exactly is on the microphone here? All right.
I don't know. No.
First of all,
he was not eating yesterday.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
And I like the fact that I have to adjust it higher, which is completely different than when I fill in, when Amy's here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you for the radio verite. All right. Yesterday, George Stephanopoulos, Clinton Foundation Donor Zero, revealed this exclusive interview he has been having, apparently for some time, with Michael Cohen, Trump's former fixer, of course, who's under investigation by the Southern District of New York. And at least how Stephanopoulos characterizes it, and he does quote Cohen specifically, there's been a little bit of a change in tone and content and position of Michael Cohen vis-a-vis President Trump, particularly when it comes to loyalty. This is a guy who previously said that he would take a bullet for President Trump, and now Stephanopoulos is noting he's saying something a bit different.
One of the big questions I asked him is, what will you do if prosecutors come to you and offer you leniency in return for information on President Trump? Now, he said he wanted to respect the process, didn't get into specifics, but he added this, and he added this with emphasis. My wife, my daughter, and my son have my first loyalty and always will. I put family and country first. Nothing there about loyalty to President Trump. In fact, he didn't praise President Trump at all during that 45-minute interview.
Where does God fit in? You got family and country. How about God? Stephanopoulos, just to be sure, asked a second and a third and a fourth time.
I've heard you say in the past you take a bullet for President Trump. I've heard you say you'll always be loyal. You'll do anything to protect him. All he said in response, and he said this with emphasis, to be crystal clear, my wife, my daughter, and my son, and this country have my first loyalty. That is a very, very different message from what we've seen from Michael Cohen in the past. And Cecilia, one of the things I said to him after hearing all this and hearing him go on the record with this for the first time.
Listen to the undertone of excitement in Stephanopoulos' voice. Are you listening to that? I mean, did you watch the interview, Prof? I was distracted by his little feet hanging with the brown shoes, but I was able to pick up on the fact that this is a preemptive foreplay for, boy, am I going to screw you. When you trust a lawyer from the Upper East Side who you're not giving checks to, prepare for bad things.
Well, the question is, we asked this question before when all of these revelations came out. We talked about this in April, and the question is, can a porn star and sort of a dopey fixer, that would be Michael Cohen, can they take down the President of the United States? And the answer to that question then and now seems to be possibly. We'll talk about this at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour with Alan Dershowitz, but this is the one danger area. I agree with Andy McCarthy from National Review, who's been saying this for some time, and now we've seen this play out, the Russian collusion investigation. There is no there that's been presented with respect to Russian collusion. That seems to be an investigation that never got out of the starting gate. This, by contrast, is problematic, potentially problematic. If Cohen has information that suggests that President Trump had guilty knowledge of an extortion racket that Cohen and another attorney we'll get to in a second could possibly have been running. Now, the problem Cohen has, he's already publicly said Trump didn't know anything about the Stormy Daniels payment. So if he changes his story, that certainly goes to his credibility, but it doesn't mean that the president is out of the woods. And here's the other thing Cohen said, too. Clearly he feels, remember, he's a fixer by trade, however good or not good he is at it. But
self-proclaimed.
But how he describes, so it's part positioning with respect to the investigation and trying to get the best deal possible, I suspect. And it's also seems perhaps part hurt feelings. What about me? I'm not going to be made the bad guy.
I will not be a punching bag as part of anyone's defense strategy. I am not a villain in any story and won't allow others to try and depict me in that way.
And then, so there's one thing. Now, so that's the personal, it seems to me. Now listen to what he had to say about the FBI.
He said, I don't agree with those who demonize or vilify the FBI. I respect the FBI as an institution as well as their agency. He said, in fact, when the FBI came to his hotel suite at the Regency Hotel in Manhattan back in April, they were very courteous. They were very professional. In fact, he said when they left, he shook their hands.
Yeah, so he couldn't have had more fun, a more enjoyable experience with the 4 million files seized by the FBI from his offices and home.
I'll tell you the truth. This is, he's setting up the fact that he's clearly going to flip-flop, roll over. He may even incriminate on things not asked. I never, and here's the other thing, Dan, is it going to matter? The people who support Donald Trump, and I mean this, there's a core constituent. Are they going to care what Cohen says?
Well, I don't know that they care about this, not knowing about paying off Stormy Daniels. I don't know that they care about that. I don't know that they care about an affair with Stormy Daniels. It doesn't seem like there's much interest in that. But if you're part of an extortion racket, which is, I think, what the real investigation here is. There's some talk about campaign finance violations and the like. Possibly those most usually result in a civil penalty. That could possibly be part of it. I think this is broader than that, and I think based on some of the stories that we know involving Cohen and others, lawyers that keep coming up, a modus operandi of Cohen and some of these other lawyers. They did the same deal with Elliot Brody, a former RNC chairman who got into a bit of a pickle with a former Playboy model, right?
Rarely heterosexual Republicans. It's nice to see.
Well, and so so the idea that that you can just wave that away because you're the president of the United States, you may be able to make the argument that the president can't be subject to a criminal investigation during his time, but the idea that he can wave that away politically, remember, impeachment is a political process, I'm not so sure about. And this just opens the possibility. Cohen, importantly, did not address anything of substance that Stephanopoulos asked him. Did Trump direct the payment to Stormy? He wouldn't answer it. He didn't answer any substantive matters of a legal nature. It was all just sort of his positioning, his feelings about himself and about the FBI.
There's enough ambiguity here to last for many years. Okay? He's the Teflon Don. You're forgetting all this. He's right. When he was running, he said, I could shoot somebody in Times Square and not lose a vote. He's 100% right. And then what he'll do, if cornered, just switch the fact what part of the government is an extortion. He could flip it on the side of, look at what they're doing to me. I'm the outsider. I truly think that he has nothing to worry about.
Maybe. I mean, I think it depends on exactly how much evidence would be presented that would lead one to believe that Trump did something illegal or not. I mean, I really think it's an evidence-based question. It would be for me. The Justice Department, in addition to this 1.3 million items the federal government received belonging to Michael Cohen, 1.3 million items.
Do you even have 1.3 million items?
4 million, actually.
Talk about clutter.
A special master, Barbara Jones, appointed by the district court judge in the case, Kimball Wood. Remember Kimball Wood?
Sure.
Got bounced out of being AG under Clinton for having the illegal.
Oh, I thought he was that street boxer that died.
It's also a she.
All right.
1.3 million items belonging to Michael Cohen. And then also the Department of Justice has revealed that in June, prosecutors recovered approximately 16 pages of shredded documents obtained in the raid of Cohen's office and home. The records contain handwritten notes concerning a taxi business, an invitation to an event to meet biz reps from Qatar. Probably Jared Kushner.
Did you read about that taxi thing?
And some documents that appear to be insurance forms. Yeah, he owns some medallions in Chicago.
It's right out of Chicago. It's beautiful. It's his partner with the Russian guy cornering the taxi market in New York. It's the same thing from these cities to cities. Yeah. We think we're so special. We've just
he had medallions here.
I know, it's ridiculous. The whole thing's ridiculous.
How did he do cornering the taxi markets? What's the street price for those medallions in the era of Uber?
That's why I love Uber.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Prop, there was a time when a medallion in New York was more expensive than a seat on the New York Stock Exchange.
It's like $1 million.
I love it. How'd that work out for you? Today, mostly sunny with a high near 75. That's not too bad. Normally it's been ridiculous. Tonight, partly cloudy. Overnight with a low around 69. Once again, not too bad. And then it's Wednesday, 4th of July, 83. Mostly cloudy overnight with a low around 75. I was hoping it would rain to get those scoundrel politicians out of those parades that make me sick. Thursday, partly sunny with a high near 88. Mostly cloudy overnight with a low around 67. Now we're going to go to my guy, Tom Beck. See, I can remember your name, Beck, because the other guy's named Beck. See, it's going to be safe.
In Grant Park, you have Taste of Chicago, closing Jackson between Columbus and Lakeshore Drive. Naperville Ribfest set up closing Martin between West and Brom. Should be open by the 11th. Otherwise, still quiet out there. No delays. Edens, Kennedy, or Eisenhower. Outbound Stevenson still dealing with a wreck on the right shoulder at Cicero. No delays, though. 24 to the Tri-State, 34 out to 355 inbound. No different. 15 both sides of the Ryan. It's 21 inbound on I-57. You slow from 99th. 20 on the inbound Bishop Ford trip, slow from Stony Island. Lakeshore Drive, clear both directions. Looking good on your area tollways, and no significant slowdowns out in northwest Indiana. I'm Kevin Henry in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens. And they need people who can keep up, with the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
Make your home an ADT home and help protect against break-ins, fire, and carbon monoxide. Get our lowest rate for fast response monitoring, starting at just $28.99 a month. That's about $1 a day from the most trusted name in home security. Get ADT's tested, trusted, and proven security and service, now at a great value. Don't wait. Call today. ADT. Always there. Now everywhere. Requires 36-month monitoring contract. Early termination, taxes, and install fees apply. Certain markets excluded. See terms and pricing at ADT.com.
If you own a business, you'll do everything you can to keep the lights on. The thing is, keeping those lights on can be much more cost-effective than you ever imagined. And Twin Supplies can help. Twin Supplies specializes in helping businesses, public entities, and nonprofits get energy efficient with their lighting and take advantage of incentives from utility companies to help with energy improvement costs. From restaurants to schools, churches, and stadiums, they'll walk you through every step to realize maximum money savings and energy efficiency. Your maintenance staff will spend less time changing bulbs with worry-free fixtures that feature up to a 10-year warranty. Plus, the quality of your lighting will improve, resulting in improved working conditions and safety. Find out how much your commercial business can save with a free energy audit from Twin Supplies. Utility companies change their incentives frequently and funds can run out. Now is the time to take action. Don't wait. Call 630-590-5138 or log on to twinsupplies.net and take charge of your business's energy efficiency. Twinsupplies.net.
Why are you checking your phone? There's no game on.
Aw, man, I'm so sorry. Let me just finish this up. There, I placed a trade for tomorrow morning. Boom.
Wow, I didn't know you did that.
Huh. Yeah, I've been taking classes at Online Trading Academy.
Really?
Yeah, I've just been feeling really stuck trying to get ahead. Online Trading Academy has taught me some really great skills, and I'm loving it. It's almost like having a second paycheck without having a second job.
It's Online Trading Academy?
Uh-huh. They're the world leader in teaching people how to become traders and investors.
I'm an ordinary guy. Do you think I can do this?
What do you think, I'm extraordinary or something? I mean, of course. I was just glad I signed up for their free class. It's great. They go over everything, and they'll show you all the different ways to make money in the market.
Now I don't have to ask my boss for a raise. I'll just give myself one.
Come to Online Trading Academy's next free half-day class. Call 888-984-TRADE now. They'll send you a free online video course so you can get started right away. 888-984-8723 or OTAChicago.com. 888-984-TRADE.
Hey, if you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, then dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, and your dental health. Hey, Sean Hannity here. So what are you waiting for? Find out now if implants are for you. Successful implants don't come from an implant factory. Skill, treatment, installation, those are the main differences for successful lifelong implants. That's why you need to see Dr. Neruzzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Neruzzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants themselves. You need the experience, the skill, and honesty that over 25 years of dental implants brings, and you're going to be happy with your implant. It's not a mass production procedure because everyone is different. And Dr. Neruzzi wants to talk to you about dental implants today.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics at 630-232-7400. They're online at implantsforme.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning is Sean from Elmwood Park. Yes, seriously.
Oh, cut it out. Everybody likes when I'm here, even the kid with the Flashdance shirt on.
All right. Flashdance shirt.
Yeah, look at him.
He doesn't.
He's got the Lululemon pants on, the Flashdance
look
shirt, and the
like
boy band hair.
He doesn't look like Jennifer Beals at all.
And it's transvestites that I got to worry about. In the
he is a
bathroom.
welder, though, when he's not here.
Sure he is.
All right. So on a serious note, obviously major holidays in America, there's always concern about the terrorist attacks. Remember our Islamo-fascist friends? They haven't gone away.
Oh, like the debt.
So, of course, this story that broke yesterday in Cleveland, federal authorities arresting a man planning a terrorist-style attack in downtown Cleveland during the fireworks. The individual whose alias is Abdur Rahim Rafiq, taken into custody over the weekend on accusations of attempting to provide material support to a foreign terrorist organization. According to the U.S. Attorney, he talked about wanting to target people watching fireworks over downtown Cleveland. He told an undercover agent last week, "I did tell myself that their holiday is coming up, the 4th of July, Independence Day. What would hit them in the core? Blow up, have a bomb, blow up at the 4th of July parade. I'm going to be somewhere else because I want to see it go off," he said. And the FBI employee, the undercover agent, presented himself as an Al-Qaeda sympathizer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just a bit of a reminder, a sober one, that number one, the FBI does a lot of good work. And number two, that the threat of Islamic-related terrorism hasn't subsided, even though we haven't had a serious attack in a couple of years.
Well, if they really want to hurt America, they'll just cut a check to the DNC.
Okay, thank you for that comment.
But I'm done. We got the rim shots out? Come on.
Boy, I had no idea that was a setup for that.
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Way to lead me down the path. I love it.
Related story, interesting piece from...
but before I let you go...
are you going to offer something seriousness?
In all seriousness, why would they not be loving the Antifa folly that's happening around the country?
Who's they?
The true terrorists, the Islamo-Nazis.
Oh.
They could just sit back and order popcorn and watch Antifa. Although what they realize is the socialists in Antifa are as good as the socialists anywhere at anything. So they stink, and they're going to fail anyway.
Yeah, I don't think they see Antifa as rising to their level of seriousness or implementation competency.
Really?
I think they see Antifa as a group that can't stop Ben Shapiro from speaking at Berkeley. So
all right,
I don't think they can see Antifa as something they can outsource.
We're not going to be in a Toyota with a rocket launcher.
But I want to briefly get to this Holman Jenkins piece too. He essentially argues that the CIA needs its own Horowitz report. Where's the Inspector General for the CIA to document the conduct versus the rule of law as well as internal protocols?
Finally.
The FBI, Jenkins writes, is treated as a closed loop when, in fact, much of its decision-making is based on intelligence and advice supplied by other agencies. He deals with some of the information as Horowitz in a classified appendix, which the public can't see, but he's not authorized to examine and dissect the internal communications and decision-making of other agencies the way that he did the FBI's, yet the necessity of doing so fairly screams at us, right, in the wake of what we hear from former CIA Director John Brennan, former CIA Director Michael Hayden.
You get to see behind the curtain a little bit when you watch these guys.
Well, and I mean, and look at the details that we get from the Horowitz report, which no one is on either side has suggested as anything other than on the mark.
And what's the money that the CIA gets? How much money do they get to keep from their operations? What's the total dollar amount the CIA spends from January 1st to January 1st? Does anybody have that figure? See, because I view them, and this isn't just because of that movie by John Travolta's boyfriend, where he plays the drug delivery pilot guy, Tom Cruise. This isn't just because I watched that.
Mm-hmm.
But the CIA
has been in
nefarious activities for decades, and they go with unrestraint. Where is the restraint on the CIA? I am not a fan, and I do like person of interest, in full disclosure.
Okay. All right. Very good. Let's see if I can. Now, you know what? I'm not even going to try and unpack that.
It's early.
But I will say this with respect to the CIA. Yes, the kind of black ops in Central American countries and all that. But with respect to what's going on now and what the FBI is under scrutiny for, think about Stephen Halper, the spy source operative who was embedded in the Trump campaign.
The fat guy from Russia?
He's a former CIA operative. He was paid by the CIA, so it's not just an FBI concern. So to Holman Jenkins' point, some review, no agency and no individual should be above the law, and that goes for the CIA. And so some Inspector General oversight, if Congress isn't going to do it or is going to be frustrated from doing it, I think makes a lot of sense.
And he was paid $2 million. This isn't chump change they're throwing around. We have no idea the money they're spending, where they're spending it, how they get it, nothing. We just got to trust. I don't want a system based in trust. If what this year shows you above all is that we are to trust no one.
Coming up, what we do know is who's proud of America and who isn't on this Independence Day Eve. We'll have that at 5:38. Now we check the headlines with Tom Beck.
Dan, thanks. Good morning. Fair, 65 degrees in Chicago at 5:30 on AM 560. The Answer. I'm Tom Beck, and for Mike Scott. A federal judge says the Trump administration is wrongly detaining folks who are seeking asylum in the U.S. The judge ordered Department of Homeland Security to stop making blanket determinations against most asylum seekers. Belgian authorities say an Iranian diplomat is one of those arrested for planning to bomb a meeting of an exiled Iranian opposition group in France last weekend. The White House says Secretary of State Pompeo will meet with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un later this week. Press Secretary Sarah Sanders says talks will focus on devising a plan to further denuclearization. The Army in Thailand says the boys' soccer team that's stranded in a cave might be stuck underground for months. Rescue crews are fighting rising water as they try to bring food and medical supplies to the 12 boys and their coach. A man is in serious but stable condition after being shot by a Chicago police officer on the city's south side last night. Police say the officer had left his store near 79th and Yates and got into his vehicle when the man approached and pointed a gun at him. The officer then shot him. And safety issues are given as the reason for the firing of the executive director of Chicago's Animal Care and Control. Mayor Emanuel's office had concerns about shelter operations led to the change and included dogs that posed a health and safety risk. News the service of Ashley Home Store. Ashley Home Store Stars and Stripes event is happening now for one final week. Get a king-size mattress for the price of a queen mattress on select Ashley Sleep and Sealy mattresses. Only at America's #1 furniture and mattress store, Ashley Home Store. This is home. AM 560 News Time is 5:32. How bad's the traffic? The answer in 2 minutes on AM 560. The Answer.
Mike Gallagher sees a win for the Republicans in November if we take some advice.
With this new era of confrontation that seems justified by a lot of people on the left. Here's what I'm concerned about. I'll be very blunt. I don't want us to be like them. As long as we're not like them, we're going to beat them where it counts, and that's on November 6th.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897. When you're insured by Mag Mutual, you get more than just medical professional liability protection. You get partnership. They're your partner when it comes to safeguarding patients, physicians, and healthcare teams. Everything they do is focused on protecting and supporting you in the practice of medicine. From helping you save money to mitigating your risk, they are your single source for customized service and support. Their promise to protect includes comprehensive insurance solutions for the practice, business, and regulation of medicine, from expert guidance to an extensive resource library and complimentary access to up-to-date. They're committed to creating a plan specifically for you, ensuring your continued success. You can stay focused on your patients, knowing Mag Mutual is your partner. Visit them on the web at magmutual.com.
For more information about Mag Mutual in Illinois, please contact Dr. Shaw at Flagship Healthcare at 312-888-9248 or by email at info@flagshiphc.com. Visit their website at flagshiphc.com.
At 5:34, checking roads from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Kevin Henry.
Thanks, Tom. Coming in on I-57 this morning, a little heavier than usual. They're taking a little extra time to pick up the overnight roadwork in the left lane. You're jammed 127 to Halstead, 40 minutes from 80 to the Ryan. Also a little slow on the inbound Ford, slow from 115th. That same reason, 23 minutes from 80-94. Now in Grant Park, Jackson shut down between Columbus and Lakeshore Drive for Taste of Chicago's setup. Lakeshore Drive itself moving well. No trouble on the Edens or Kennedy. Ike inbound starting to see delays building 25th to Displays. Give yourself 31 from 390, 18 from Manheim. Traffic, a service of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Wishing you were on a big adventure instead of stuck in a little traffic. This Friday, join Ant-Man and the Wasp in the biggest movie of the summer. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Kevin Henry on AM 560, The Answer.
Kevin, thanks. More of Chicago's Morning Answer comes your way next. Now your official Chicagoland forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Partly sunny and more humid, high 89. Wednesday, partly sunny, hot and humid, scattered afternoon thunderstorms, high 90. Thursday, variable clouds, scattered afternoon storms, high 89. Right now it's fair and 65 at O'Hare, 65 along Chicago's lakefront. Next news update comes your way at 6 o'clock. Continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic and weather at 560theanswer.com. Now, more of Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy J. This morning is Sean from Elmwood Park. And Sean, on this Independence Day Eve, you extremely proud to be an American? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. Are you proud to be an American?
But I'm not a national populist.
That's not what
So-
that wasn't the question.
so
The question was not, are you a national populist?
Of course I am. I'm as proud to be an American as everybody who understands what America is. That America is about freedom, liberty, and sovereignty of me. That I am not a servant to government. It is a servant to me. Which is why when I see these frauds go into parades, I have a hard time. So I don't go to the parades anymore.
Fearful master, dangerous servant.
I'll never forget, in Elmwood Park. I live in Elmwood Park, and I drag
I've
my
heard
kids.
that.
They're little.
Yeah.
It's hot. And there are the scoundrels, right? Pete Silvestri with the squirrel on his head, walking arm in arm with Quigley. And I'm supposed to pretend, you guys are looking out for me. That was the same year I realized that it was the Puerto Rican socialist is my congressman, Luis Gutierrez.
Not anymore. Now it's going to be Chewy.
His daughter. Oh, no, his daughter's going to run for something else, right?
Chewy Garcia is replacing
Sure, Chewy
Gutierrez.
Garcia, right. The Ron Jeremy of Puerto Ricans.
No,
he's probably not.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You mean because of the mustache?
No, he looks just like him.
Oh. I'll have to think about that. So Gallup released a poll yesterday to the question of extremely proud of America. Are you extremely proud to be an American? 32% of Democrats rate themselves as extremely proud. 74% of Republicans. This is the lowest number for Democrats and the highest number for Republicans since 2013. That's when Michelle Obama wasn't proud to be an American, so nobody else in the Democratic Party was. White Americans more likely to be extremely proud than non-white, 54 to 33.
Really?
Yeah, it's sort of remarkable, and it sort of speaks to the difference in rhetoric and policy vision, doesn't it?
I think it speaks to the education system.
Well, okay, in part that. 47% overall, so there's the other thing. It also speaks to the country may be moving left, but the Democrats are moving left much faster.
They're not moving left, they're socialists.
15-point spread. And my point is to say nearly half say extremely proud. Only 1 in 3 Democrats say extremely proud. 3 in 4 Republicans say extremely proud. That does tell you something. That does tell you something about the psychology of the electorate.
Well, us here in Illinois, we have known for decades that the Democrats are Soviets, right? We've watched the collusion and the corruption, the price fixing, the scam contracts. So when we're out of Illinois and Chicago and someone says, where are you from? You're not proud to say you're from Chicago. And this isn't just because of the midget Rahm Emanuel. I'll go back to Piccadilly. You're not proud to say, oh, I'm from this bastion of bald face, open and notorious skullduggery.
No, we sort of rationalize it by saying the city that works, right? We talk about the corruption tax. We talk about the mobsters, whether they're in pinstripe suits or pinstripe suits on the street or pinstripe suits on the 5th floor. We talk about them sort of in a stylized way, the way that sometimes you have people talk about the crime families of yesteryear in a stylized way, forgetting that they're thugs. So we just say, well, this is how it is. This is the city that works. This is part of our identity. Al Capone, Richie Daley, the mobsters running, booze and now drugs and prostitutes and everything else, gambling, versus
That's
the ones
Illinois
that
economic
versus the ones that make the laws.
Yeah, well, as you move, and here's another thing, Dan. I think as you move more socialist as a country, you lose pride. Right? I mean, what are you going to have, welfare patriots? And then to pay for the welfare patriots, you have the extortion tax of the people who do. So you become battered. You become less proud of it.
That may be true, but here's the other thing that happens to you. You become a super minority party. And that's what Democrats are in this country at present.
Democrats? You mean Republicans?
No, Democrats in this country.
Oh, okay.
In this country are...
So are people who believe in not, people who believe in principles. I'm a minority.
Well, yeah, okay, but this is specific to the data. Okay. If we could just stick to the data and project out what this means, it means you're going to be a super minority party. And that's what the Democrats are at present. And that's what they're tracking to be even in a midterm out of power, which is unusual. Doug Schoen, a Clinton pollster, writing in The Hill about this very issue, saying that, in the wake of that Ocasio-Cortez woman who won in New York, her platform of Medicare for All, guaranteed job by the federal government, abolishing ICE, has emboldened the left and loudest voices in the Democratic Party, but it's not a winning strategy for general elections nor an effective platform to govern on. Oh, you don't say. It's a dangerous trend for Democrats, writes Schoen, leading into November. In fact, current polls indicate that Democrats with the highest chance of flipping seats in Congress are those that hold moderate and establishment views. And he cites two examples, Amy McGrath in Kentucky 6th and also Connor Lamb in Pennsylvania 17th. And he references two red state senators that are up for re-election and that are in trouble, Joe Manchin and Bill Nelson. It's horrible, said Manchin, regarding calls for public harassment of Trump aides. We won't do that in West Virginia. Bill Nelson in Florida said, also agreed with Manchin that he would hope other people would do the same as he would do, treat people with respect, even if you disagree. That just doesn't play in places where the Democrats need that to play if they want to be the party in power. This may end up being the saving grace of Republicans in November.
But do you think it's because Republicans have become more sympathetic with socialism? Because what you're seeing through this national populism, let's take right here in Illinois. Are you watching the Peter Roskam commercials? He's not running to remove Obamacare. They're not even talking about debt anymore. He's running on fake conservative claims, and at the end of the commercial, he says, and he'll work for you to get affordable health care. So in other words, they've co-opted the Democrat platform of well-managed socialism. See, to me, that's what Trumpism is. That's what Trumponomics is. And what I'm seeing is if they're going to crowd out hardcore Soviets because they're going to be moderate socialists, well, then we all lose.
Well, I mean, the House Republicans did move an Obamacare repeal. The president would have signed it. At least it was the beginning of something. I mean, these things, unfortunately, are largely incremental in nature. But that's not why Democrats are going to lose. I mean, there are issues with big government Republicans. There's no question about it. But that's not why they're losing. That's not why they're missing the opportunity. They're missing the opportunity because of what Schoen is writing, because of where the country is versus where the center of gravity is in their party. Let me give you another example. Harvard-Harris poll out end of June on the issues of immigration-related issues. Do you think that people who make it across our border illegally should be allowed to stay in the country or sent home? 64% of Americans, likely voters, said they should be sent home. 2/3. And nearly half of Democrats, 2/3 of independents, and 4 and 5 Republicans. 2/3 of independents say they should be sent home. Where the Democrats are in immigration, despite this family separation flap and the rallies on Sunday over the weekend, they're not where the majority of the American people are. Joe in Villa Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, it was a very distinct comment that a congressman from Illinois made on the England show last night. He said the Democratic Party wants to be the party that allows people to succeed. I don't want my government to allow me to succeed. I want them to get the heck out of the way.
Yeah.
And a quick question for Sean. Hey, Sean, what's the best cigar I could use to light fireworks this week?
Oh, you got to go with whatever it is, make it a 60
Thanks,
ring gauge.
Joe.
You stop by the Elmer Cigar House, we'll figure it out.
Uh-huh.
See what I did there, Prof?
Yeah, there you go. It's always be closing.
Always be closing.
Do you think parents with children who make it across our border illegally should be allowed to stay in the country or sent home? The presence of children alters the result a little bit, but it's just a little bit. 61% still say they should be sent home. A supermajority of Americans are not on the open borders, abolish ICE program that the left is trumpeting. And I'm not just talking about the girl from the Bronx. I'm talking about
Jenny from around the block.
I'm talking about Dick Durbin. I'm talking about Christian Gillibrand. I'm talking about Elizabeth Warren over the weekend.
Here's the problem we have. We allow them to position themselves as having this phony virtue, right? Because we speak in blatant solutions, right? There's this blatant solution. When we're not talking about what are we...
Blanket solution?
Yeah.
What?
There is no one specific... Here, if you're in Ecuador, you and I are in Ecuador, all right?
Where? Quito?
The
Guayaquil? Where are we?
It's all collapsing. Pick a totalitarian town, and it's collapsing, and the government is seizing our property, and we are going the way of Venezuela, which is what is really happening, right? Now, I have a family, and you have a family, and we say, listen, let's make the trek. Let's go to America. Let's get our kids. Let's get the hell out of here. And we come to America. There should be an asylum program for people fleeing these totalitarian, despotic countries.
There is.
Now, here's the other thing. Let's not get caught up in what I see as immigration really is happening, is that Americans are protecting failed socialist policies. When you listen to people's objection of immigrants, what are they really objecting to? They're objecting to them piling on their already socialist programs that are failing, and we're expanding them, whether they're Medicaid, welfare, school systems, or free insurance. That's what you're really protecting. The problem with what's happening in immigration is not the immigrant. It's that we as Americans refuse to recognize our failed socialism, and we pretend that we're entitled to it and no one else is.
Speaking of blanket statements, I guess, what the hell are you talking about? You think people that support the rule of law as it pertains to immigration don't think that people should jump the line, are open to reform?
I don't think
but I'm not done. Are open to reforms, but don't want people who are violent criminals in this country, particularly when the politicians of both parties say they shall be ejected and they're not. You think those people are necessarily defenders of the welfare state? Actually, it's quite the opposite.
Okay, well, here's what I think. I think when I'm in line at the TSA, I don't want anyone to jump it. I want the line to move faster. That's what I want. I think you got a bunch of government hacks picking and choosing who gets to be.
To do with the welfare
because
state?
the line is what the problem is, because the people managing the line suck at it. They suck at it. Whether it's legal visa, student visa, they're extorting people to become students to stay in the country from Europe. It's a huge problem. How about the HB1 visa problem, where we allow people who are rich to come in? So streamline it all.
Who's extorting who exactly?
The government is extorting everyone. So the government is managing the line, so they suck at their job.
You're an open borders guy.
I'm not an open borders. I want a filter system that protects me from criminals, that protects me from people that want to be on the welfare system. And that's it. If you want to come here, God bless you. God bless you. You should come here. If you're in a country that is a sewer, third world, what are you supposed to do? Stay there? So let them come here and be a participant. I don't want anybody on welfare, including Americans.
Yeah, okay.
Simple. It's not hard. Come on in and be a productive society. I'm not afraid of competition. I just don't. What you're seeing Americans is they're afraid of competition, of free stuff. They're afraid of welfare competition.
There are some. But there are no. It's not the. Well, then you're very listening to a very narrow sliver of the electorate.
Only one of us is from Melrose Park. Their biggest problems are the schools, the health care, and all the free stuff they want. Listen, I don't think anyone should send their kid to school for free. Zero. Nobody. You got a kid, he goes to school, pay.
Yes, that's one aspect of it that you're seizing on, and then you're over extrapolating from that one issue.
Health care, food stamps, pick one.
Yeah, I understand. I've advocated for, 20 years, the idea of rethinking how we do immigration in this country. And one way, once you're vetted, to expedite your entry, at least on a temporary legal basis, is to sign away, to waive off your welfare state benefits. I completely agree with that. And I completely agree with rethinking Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security and all the welfare state programs. And yet I also think that people need to be vetted, and I think that the rule of law needs to be in place so there actually is a queue and you don't get to jump the line. And I think that asylum is for crimes, is for people fleeing government oppression. It's not for domestic or private crimes. So there's a lot of issues that are under this umbrella that you think just railing against Americans, worrying about people coming to this country and living off of their largesse, you're sort of caricaturing the issue.
Why did Trump get rid of wet foot, dry foot? I have been to Cuba. It is a prison island. And anybody who is physically capable jumps on a firestone to get to freedom. And the minute they get here, they should be welcomed. They should be accepted because they are fleeing a prison island, like Venezuela, like Ecuador, like the majority of all these South American socialist despot countries.
There also is a reality. Like, I know you're maybe not an implementation guy here, but there's a reality on the ground. There's a logistical challenge to this, because if it was just about people fleeing countries that are economic wastelands, that don't have opportunities, that are oppressive, then we would be talking about increasing the population of America overnight by, I don't know, a factor of 20.
Good.
So that's not easy to do without consequence. So that there does need to be laws governing how we do that, don't you think?
Well, of course.
Or no.
Not many. I don't think there should be many. No, I don't.
So you would be fine.
You're not going to give me that population stuff, are you? Because we're less than 6% developed, the country.
Yeah, I understand. I'm not a ZPGer, but you can be not a ZPGer and also recognize the idea of 3 billion people here coming overnight presents a lot of challenges.
Of course it does.
Right.
Of course
so
it does.
you wouldn't want to do it that way.
Those are challenges. Listen.
So you would or you wouldn't want to do it that way? Because that's essentially what you're saying. If you want to do that, you're saying that you're saying open borders. That's what you're saying.
I'm not saying open borders. I'm
well,
saying
if you want to do it that
streamline
way,
borders and keep out criminals. That's all. I want to know your name. I want to know you're not sick. I want to know you're not a criminal. Then you come on in, baby, and you be part of America.
Bruno in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I have 2 quick points. First, I do believe in asylum, but only for extreme cases. There's simply not enough money in this country to absorb.
Oh, really?
You know,
you got a
$22
trillion
debt.
People. Oh, please, come on! They're spending more money than ever. You don't have enough money? We just make it up whenever we want it. We bail out at Wall Street anytime you want.
And eventually, the house of cards comes tumbling down. And the second point that I want to make is we're always turning this into an economic, decision. But there's a social aspect to this too. Most people in the world, from most countries in the world, have very different viewpoints on American values. They don't believe in free speech. They believe there should be speech codes. They don't believe that people should own guns. And if you have millions and millions and millions of people coming here and they vote, eventually, if you do it too fast and you don't assimilate these people to have American values, we will lose what makes us unique. We will lose our constitutional rights.
All right, thanks for the call, Bruno. Mike in Bolingbrook.
Yeah. Hey, Dan, what's Sean's last name? Pelosi? He's not for open borders, but everybody that comes here should be welcome.
Yeah,
me?
Was your grandfather welcome? Was your grandfather welcome, or was there a means test?
No, you know what? That has nothing to do with my grandfather.
Okay, because you're
that came
special.
over here in the early 1900s.
Okay, and what was the immigration law then?
We got today. And you talk about lines.
Hey, Nitwit, what was the immigration law?
You're going to put 5 people out of work to make the line
Oh,
shorter?
yeah. 5 union guys out of work for 1 non-union, yeah. They could screw themselves with their fixed pay.
Go back and sleep with your Democrats, Pelosi.
Moron.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated, price-competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino. And believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-613-7416. That's 800-613-7416. 800-613-7416. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I went to have my blood test done a few weeks ago, and I met the doctor, and he was really encouraged by my progress, and I showed him what I was taking, and he started looking at all the ingredients, and he said, I'm really impressed with the shiitake mushroom. And he said, this stuff, it could clean out your arteries. And I'm like, oh, wow. He said, you may be onto something here. And he said, you just keep that up, and maybe you can start cutting back on your medication. And he says, you're helping your health by doing that. And I'm like, whoa, endorsement by the doctor.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
As you approach retirement, it's important to determine the amount of income you can receive from Social Security. Depending on when and how distributions are taken, you may be able to optimize the benefits you're eligible to receive, particularly among married couples. Call Jack Taboda today to get a copy of his informational booklet, The Social Security Decisions. This informational booklet presents the facts about Social Security distribution options to help you determine when and how to begin taking distributions, so you may receive more income over the course of your retirement. To receive your Social Security Decisions informational booklet, call Jack at 630-777-7955 or visit Taboda.com. That's TEBODA.com. Get the most out of your Social Security benefits. Call today, 630-777-7955.
Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and Taboda & Associates are not affiliated companies. Taboda & Associates is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Hey, at 5:57, checking roads from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Kevin Henry.
Thanks, Tom. Looking good on the Edens and the Kennedy. Eisenhower inbound, a little slow from Wolf to Des Plaines. Also slow from Damon to the Byrne interchange. 37 minutes from 390, 24 from Mannheim. Your outbound trip taking you just 29. The inbound, Stevenson, 44 from 355, 32 from the Tri-State. Slow 83 to County Line, Harlem to Kedzie and Ashland to the Ryan. Inbound Ryan, 20 from 95th. Slow from the Stevenson outbound is clear. Inbound I-57, almost a half hour, just the same on the inbound Ford. They had some late construction pickup there causing that. Lakeshore Drive is looking good both directions. You do have a closure of Jackson, though, in Grant Park for Taste of Chicago setup. This report brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America invites you to take steps for cures at a walk event near you. Support the 1.6 million Americans living with diseases. Get started at cctakesteps.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Kevin Henry on AM 560, The Answer.
Kevin, thanks. Now your official Chicagoland forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Garrett Beck.
Today will be more humid with partial sunshine. The high will be 89. Tonight, partly cloudy, warm and humid, low 73. Then tomorrow, partly sunny, hot and humid, with a thunderstorm around in the afternoon. The high will be 90. I'm Garrett Beck on AM 560, The Answer.
Right now, it's fair and 65 degrees in O'Hare and 65 along Chicago's lakefront. In the news, Chicago police say an officer shot and wounded a man last night after the man pointed a gun at the officer. This happened outside a store near 79th and Yates. The officer is now on 30 days administrative leave while the incident is investigated. A former area attorney will face a minimum 14 years behind bars after being convicted of murdering his wife 45 years ago. Prosecutors said Donnie Rudd murdered his wife in 1973 for life insurance money. Former Central Illinois Congressman Aaron Schock wants a judge to freeze his federal corruption trial. Schock's lawyers filed to put his trial on hold while they work on an appeal to a judge's refusal to dismiss the charges. Schock is accused of lying on campaign and congressional spending reports. Chicago police hope release of a video will lead to the arrests of 4 people who robbed a woman in broad daylight in the Loop. And there's another bike rental service in Chicago. Uber launched its dockless bike service Jump in several Southside neighborhoods. Sports, Cubs and Tigers open a 2-game series at Wrigley this afternoon. Reds beat the White Sox 5-3 in the first of 3 in Cincinnati. News and service of Ant-Man and the Wasp, wishing you were on a big adventure instead of stuck in a little traffic. This Friday, join Ant-Man and the Wasp in the biggest movie this summer, Ant-Man and the Wasp. More Chicago's Morning Answer coming up on WIND Chicago. It is 6 o'clock.
He has 2 or 3 more interviews to go. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump still trying to decide who to nominate for the Supreme Court. Fox's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Dave, President Trump just tweeted, I interviewed 4 very impressive people yesterday, and he said a decision is coming soon.
We'll make a decision on the United States Supreme Court, the new justice. That'll be made over the next few days, and we'll be announcing it on Monday.
Under consideration right now, Amy Coney Barrett, Brett Kavanaugh, Raymond Kethledge, and Amul Thapar. Democrats are concerned the president will pick a justice who would vote to overturn Roe versus Wade. Dave.
Rachel, there have been a lot of calls and protests, people wanting ICE abolished. President Trump just tweeted, we have an infestation of MS-13 gangs in certain parts of the country. Who do we send to get them out? ICE. Now, amid all the controversy over the president's border policy, which for a time included the separation of kids from parents being prosecuted for coming here illegally, a judge's decision.
A federal judge has issued a preliminary injunction ordering Immigration and Customs Enforcement to stop what some opponents call arbitrary detention of asylum seekers. Anyone who wants asylum has to pass a screening to determine if they face persecution in their home country. If they pass, they're usually given what's called humanitarian parole until they get a hearing. If they don't pass, they get detained or deported.
As Fox's Jill Nato, a state trooper is being mourned in New York, shot early yesterday. Responding to an armed standoff, Governor Cuomo says Nicholas Clark was a hero.
We wanted to do one thing, which is help people and be part of public service.
The gunman was a school principal who then killed himself, and the man accused of attacking a 3-year-old's birthday party on Saturday in Boise, Idaho, is now charged with murder. The birthday girl died. 8 others were also stabbed and wounded. This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
As press secretary for President Trump, Sean Spicer had a front row seat to history. And in his new book, he reveals details about what really happened behind the scenes during the campaign and the early days of the administration. On Wednesday, August 8th, Sean Spicer is coming to Chicago. Meet Sean Spicer and get a copy of his new book, The Briefing, at the Museum of Broadcast Communications. Tickets are absolutely free. Thanks to healthinsurancementors.com. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/briefing. That's 560theanswer.com/briefing.
As a small business owner, you make every dollar count. So what could you do with $10? Go to Vistaprint.com today and you'll get 500 high-quality custom business cards for only $9.99. That's less than 2 cents per card. And at Vistaprint, your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. So it's never been easier to turn 500 strangers into connections. Just visit Vistaprint.com and use promo code 3030 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 3030.
Make your home an ADT home and help protect against break-ins, fire, and carbon monoxide. Get our lowest rate for fast response monitoring, starting at just $28.99 a month. That's about $1 a day from the most trusted name in home security. Get ADT's tested, trusted, and proven security and service, now at a great value. Don't wait. Call today. ADT. Always there. Now everywhere. Requires 36-month monitoring contract. Early termination, taxes, and install fees apply. Certain markets excluded. See terms and pricing at ADT.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly. I was reading an article the other day that the average American homeowner has over $16,000 in high interest rate credit card debt. Every morning you wake up and you work so hard to get ahead, but by the end of the month, you're just barely getting by. Then when things pop up like new tires, medical bills, school supplies, a laptop, it ends up on the credit cards. Well, the good news is if you're a homeowner, there's never been a better time to do a cash out refinance. Your home is going up in value quicker than it has over the last 10 years. And mortgage rates are still near these all-time low levels. Cash out loans are some of our favorites. Honestly, they really are, because those are the ones that make the greatest impact in a person's financial situation. Those are the loans where we're saving people $500, $1,000, even $2,000 a month. If you do have some credit cards, write them down. Get an idea of how high the balances are, how high the interest rates are, and then apply for a cash-out refinance today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert, LLC, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee.
Hey guys, Ken here from the Business Accelerator podcast, Today's Growth. If you had to choose a vehicle to take you up the rocky side of a mountain, would you choose a Ferrari or a Jeep? The Ferrari's faster, cooler, maybe even sexier, but if you have to get to the top, the Jeep's a better bet. I think we can agree getting to the top is not about the driver, it's the vehicle. Have you noticed people often pick their financial vehicle like they pick their cars? Washington Post shared that only 1 out of 4 people choose a job that uses their college degree. Why? Simple. Something more immediate, maybe cooler, maybe even sexier came along first. Shouldn't the main deciding factors for revenue generation be production or output? Should the cool factor have any weight in choosing someone's income? If getting to the top of the financial mountain is mission critical for you, why not add a few Jeeps to your garage? Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that makes it to the top every time? If so, you have to see the Jeeps lined up at IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
Trust, trust, trust. Yes, I said trust 3 times because I want to tell you about a recent AM 560 charity benefactor and company that built their business and reputation over 3 decades by being trustworthy. I'm talking about Dependable Construction and founder Joe Barron. Tuck pointing, brick, and roofing is Joe's specialty. Joe started as a laborer, then progressed to an expert tuck pointer and bricklayer. In addition to masonry and roofing, Dependable Construction has grown to become a full-service Angie's List and Better Business Bureau award-winning contractor. For brick, masonry, and roofing on residential, commercial, or industrial projects to any remodeling or construction, you'll deal directly with owner Joe Barron. So call Joe at Dependable Construction today. Mention AM 560 and receive a 10% discount on most jobs. Call 773-244-1091. That's 773-244-1091 or visit tuckpointchicago.net. tuckpointchicago.net.
This hourly segment is brought to you by St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. More info online at sjnma.org.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and in for Amy J. This morning is Sean from Elmwood Park.
The pruner. Pruning the audience.
We like to bring Sean in from time to time because sometimes the audience gets too big and unwieldy.
Unmanageable.
And the way that Sean does it, we can make sure we get everybody an opportunity to speak. A real manageable audience.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could fit it into Elmhurst Cigar Shop by the time the show's over.
Sure.
Yeah.
Low tolerance for morons.
We were talking about immigration, and Sean was misstating facts, which...
Which facts? The grandparents or the immigration law before 1913?
You said that Trump rescinded the wet foot, dry foot policy. That was actually President Obama.
He just didn't reinstate it.
Or he didn't reinstate it, in part because there's a lot of Cuban Americans opposed to how it was actually being carried out in practice. Because, for example, it was being taken advantage of by human traffickers. I know those
are already here.
I know those details are unimportant to you, but they're details and facts nonetheless. Also, this fact on the ground in Berlin. How about this reversal in terms of changing attitudes? Now people are seeing some of what has been wrought by government-sponsored multiculturalism. Chancellor Angela Merkel, or Angela, she is yielding to political pressure to build border camps for asylum seekers and to tighten the border with Austria. And she's doing it because her government was at risk of no longer being her government if she didn't. So even Europe is reversing course of some of their open borders policies.
See, but let me be clear. I don't want to capitulate to their traditions under any circumstances.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think the government should print documents in anything but English. We should have a national language. So I'm not about this soiree of us bending to them and them not adapting to our principles and fundamentals.
Well, speaking
I
of,
am about those principles and fundamentals. However,
well, speaking of grandparents, you were talking about those turn of the 20th century immigrants. They came through Ellis Island.
I have no problem with that. Love it. Let's all go back to that.
Okay. All right. We'll take a couple calls on this. Jim in the Loop. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Sean. How you doing?
Morning.
Whenever I start a conversation about immigration, I like to ask people, we have about 300 million people in this country.
330.
And if 330 million people in this country, tomorrow, could we let 330 million more people into this country? Could
Yes.
we double the population?
You could quadruple it. You're less
could
than
quadruple it.
6%. Jim, you're less than 6% developed. So when you take your next plane to California and you look out of the plane and you see all that dirt, that means we're less than 6%
Do you
developed.
understand that density is not the only issue?
No, but
Right.
would be the
How do you employ all these people?
Because of what? Because of socialism, you can't let them in. Because of your free nonsense
no.
that you want to pretend Americans are entitled to. You're not entitled to anything.
You couldn't double the population of this country tomorrow
Yeah,
without having major effects on the economy, social services, everything like that.
Those people
So
sitting on their
basically,
duff
you
may
have
have to go
let
to
him
work.
finish. Jim, finish.
Thanks, Dan. Basically, you have to set a number, and that's what we count on immigration and naturalization, to set a number.
China
So
sets
we need
numbers.
to stop all the illegal immigration, set a number. Right now, what are we letting? About 1 million people a year legally? We could even double that to 2 million if we just did it properly. If people, my parents, they came here, they never used social services other than Social Security and Medicare, which they paid into for 30, 40 years. They never used any social services. They had to have accountability, a place to stay, job lined up.
Yeah.
People come now and all they do is use our social services.
Well,
and
that's
you couldn't double the population of the country tomorrow letting people use our social services.
That's
Ta-da! That's what I've been saying.
Thanks for the call, Jim. That was a very thoughtful call. You've elevated the conversation, which we appreciate.
So let's hold on a minute. Rather than this rapid fire, I have relatives too who were caught up in many Ponzi schemes, which is what Social Security is. So we need to end Ponzi schemes, right? We need to end the idea that you're born into an entitlement state, therefore you're entitled.
So give me the progression. Synchronize this for me.
Number one.
You want 300 million, let's 300 million or whatever the number is overnight, but they can't access welfare state benefits. So implement it for me. What's the
Detour
vision?
welfare state. So in other words, when you're on welfare, you're a ward of the state.
I don't want a philosophical treatise on the welfare state.
That's what America
I
is.
said implement it for me. You want this policy change, so tell me how it works on the ground in reality.
All people can only get welfare if they're drug tested regularly, right? Anybody on social programs, unemployment of any kind, can no longer vote until they're off of it. Implement the idea that freeloaders get to have a majority rule, a mobocracy, over those who produce. Stop all payments and limit all payments to everybody. All health care, free nonsense, and I'm cleaning it up, stops immediately.
Yeah. Right.
Stops immediately.
I know. This is.
You don't get to use your illness as a weapon against those who are healthy.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So we're going to going to flip the switch, and we're going to be an open borders minarchist state.
I'm not about open borders.
Good luck
you
with
keep
that.
saying that. I'm not suggesting that.
Well,
I'm suggesting a streamlined sense. You know what else isn't discussed in all this? What about the HB1 visa program?
What about
Where all the politically connected get to sell it and get the profit. 500,000, you come on in. Where's the line for those guys? Right? You just got to contact the right scumbag.
H-1B visas are for people who have particular expertise and can do a job that an employer can't find an American to do. High-tech industries, for example.
That's why Hillary's brother is in charge, and McAuliffe. That was their side business, too.
You're raging against things we all agree on, like you're the only one who thinks this. It's a little silly. So if you could get to a point where we're actually advancing the conversation, that would be helpful. You want to blow the caps on H-1B visa program? Fine.
Yeah.
Do I want Hillary Clinton's brother in charge? He's not in charge of it. But do I want government arbitrarily setting numbers? No, not really. Do I want government vetting people coming into this country? Yes, that's the Ellis Island reference. So I mean, the comment that Jim made Jim from the Loop made is a perfectly reasonable comment about how you actually make this a more welcoming place and do what you're trying to accomplish, streamline more legal immigration, productive immigration into this country. Your hysterics don't help.
They're not hysterics. You're accusing me of being an open borders at the like a Democrat who
300 million more tomorrow. Practically, how do you vet that?
I
How do you
want to
vet those
not
individuals?
expand one social program. I want to eliminate every single one of them.
Right. Okay. Let's see. Tom in Deer Park.
Hey, good morning, guys. A couple items, but I think the first thing we can all agree on is that our immigration policy is a mess, and it hasn't been addressed properly by Congress. I don't think it really should be in the hands of the chief executive. Can we agree on that?
No, we can't, because the Article 2 powers are very specific on the topic. You may want to read the temporary travel ban decision by the court. Number one. Number two, immigration in this country has been a mess since its founding. And so this is a very difficult issue. It has often had racist overtures. That is not in dispute. The question is a vision for it going forward and a process to achieve that vision. It's very easy to offer these kind of woozy dreamland proposals of eliminating the welfare state. Get me from here to there, and then making this country a more welcoming place. Because if you take the other approach, here's what you're going to get. You're going to get Tom Cotton and David Perdue win the day, where we're going to start hard capping legal immigration generally, not just for H-1B visas, but we're going to start reducing legal immigration generally, because the American people have lost complete confidence in both parties to be serious about even the physical security aspect of it, vetting and removing violent criminals. They can't even do that. And then you want to play the race game against people who are trying to address those issues while advancing a plausible vision for immigration policy in this country. It's a lot more complicated than our friend Sean over here wants to make it.
Well, I think it's extremely complicated. But I also think that, you go back to, are we proud to be Americans? And it's the notion of being American. So without getting corny, Cato Institute does a lot of research. Again, it's difficult, but the public notion that, yes, there's bad guys, the MS-13 and the case in California, it's all true. But the overall numbers, according to Cato, if you trust them, that the illegal and legal immigrations have a lower incarceration rate. So you can read it and vet that any way you want. But
so what? What's your point?
Maybe.
We're having a narrative, and there's a Fox News watching, fire-breathing, red meat crowd. Maybe I live in a bubble, Dan.
Just wait. Separate out Fox. This is that specific point about illegal immigrants are less likely to be incarcerated than people in this country legally. Let's stipulate to that for the sake of argument. So what? So should we deport people who commit crimes who are American citizens and welcome in all illegal immigrants because they're less likely to commit crimes than Native Americans or than naturalized citizens? What kind of sense does that make? It's not about likelihood. It's about vetting people who come into this country. It's about having a reliable rule of law that governs entry into this country. I don't care whether they are less likely or more likely. One Kate Steinle is too many, and it doesn't have to happen. That's the point.
Can we agree that if we were to cut out the social benefits such as free education for your kids and free health care, you would detour a large amount of those coming here now?
There's no question welfare state benefits are a magnet.
So maybe if we just fix our failed socialism, it'll kind of take care of a lot of the problem. So I want to start
Thanks for the call, Tom.
Right here by let us stop pretending that those generational welfare citizens are an asset to us. And let's have a means test for all welfare. Let's solve our own problem. And I think you'd be surprised how many immigration problems that'll solve.
Wait, you think means testing Social Security is a way to solve immigration?
I think all social programs should be means tested.
So
if you're a ward of the state, then you live the way I decide. You're not free anymore. You gave it up for a food stamp card.
So
you're not an American. So I'm not proud of you.
Yeah. I'm not so sure.
Now, on the second hand, if you're
what problem are you solving there? The point is that human beings are assets to be developed, not liabilities to be managed. That's what a liberty-loving free marketeer believes. Do you believe that?
Yes, and if you're starving in a third world and you're watching your children starve, and you know there's free food because a government like ours.
Come back
Hold
to
on a minute,
America.
I let you talk.
Come back to America.
I am. We've been advertising in these third worlds that you just get here and we give you free everything. That was one of the Obama staples.
Right.
Okay? So we lure them here. Then we're aggravated that they come here. Because if I'm starving in the third world and I got look at my kid every day, I'll do whatever the hell I have to get here.
Well, we're aggravated by the magnet, too.
So eliminate the magnet, brother. That's all I'm saying.
Russ in Elmhurst. Hey, Russ.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Wonderful.
Hello?
Good morning.
Good. Go ahead. You're on.
Hey, hi. How you doing, Dan?
Good.
Hey, Mr. Sean.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, you know what? I'm tired of everybody talking about the poor people from other countries. Here's an idea for one thing. If they're so intent on coming here to America, get your, I won't get nasty either, get your bottom part of malehood, get them together and fight for your own damn country and get it right. I don't want to hear about your starving kids and coming here. There's a lot of guys here. This is all. Hello?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm dazzled by brilliance.
This is a damned invasion force.
Oh.
And it's put together by the Democrats, the MS-13, and all the rest of the street gangs that are trying to destroy our country. That's what this is all about. Look, I'm second generation Dago, okay? Sean,
Then why
I grew
did they
up in
come here?
Melrose
Hold
Park
on.
before you were born.
Really, Russ? You genius?
I was there.
Then why did they come here, dummy? Why did your grandfather come here?
I don't care why
You're
they
an
come
idiot.
here.
Hang
they
up
don't
on this
come here
idiot.
because they like America.
Put your hat on.
They don't come here because they believe in
Fox.
the freedom. They believe in the freaking money.
Yeah, genius. Brilliant.
All right.
Really.
Thanks for the call, Russ. You're going to have to do better than just calling people dummy.
How many times are you going to let the guy contradict himself, contradict his own ancestry? How many times are you going to pretend that that's a real American?
Russ from Elmhurst isn't a real American.
Why did his grandfather come here?
So now,
why did they come here?
Now you're deporting callers?
Why? I'd love to. I'll streamline it. Give me 20 minutes.
Joe on the south side. Hello, Joe.
All right.
Joe on the south side.
Hello.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Joe. You're on.
30 years ago, I married an illegal alien.
Yeah. She deserves
and we
whatever
had 5
she
children. And she and I both agree what's going on now is wrong. 100% wrong.
In what sense?
That the influx of illegal aliens is illegal aliens are against it. Those that have been naturalized.
All right, we'll just put together a dating service.
No, that's not the problem.
Okay.
Now, you may think you can think what you want, but I was raised in Northbrook, and at the time that I lived in Northbrook, it was all white bread, sliced white bread.
It still is.
And then the Jews, and I'm not discriminating.
Sweating
Jews
somewhere.
who
Go ahead.
became affluent, who lived in Skokie, started moving to Highland Park, Glencoe, and that was great. And why was it great? Because it gave all those people who were nothing but sliced white bread something to think about. Now, I didn't raise my family in Northbrook, and I could have. I raised them in Chicago on the south side, back of the yards.
Right.
My kids were exposed to Chinese, Koreans, blacks, Hispanics, the whole gamut, and they were better off for it.
Okay.
I was raised by a woman who loved people.
You've convinced me.
And taught me to love people. And I like everybody. There is some truth to this last caller. Yeah, they should stay where they are and fight for what we have here. We're no longer a beacon. We're like a sponge, and we're overwhelmed at this point.
All right. Thanks.
Now, a year ago,
Joe,
my son was going.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
A year
Quickly,
ago, my
Joe.
son was going to a wedding, and he's a beer drinker, and he worked with me every day, so he wasn't an addict. But he wanted a little cocaine.
All right.
Oh, that just kept going, huh?
Thanks for the call, Joe.
Oh, all right. You've changed my mind, Prof. Let's just do this. An IQ minimum.
Well, you better be careful about where you set that bar.
You never
Otherwise,
know.
I'm going to be hosting the show myself.
Yeah,
sure. Yemi on the north side.
Good morning, Dan.
can you please have Sean stop all these protests and relax, and so that we can enjoy the show? Thank you.
Best caller of the morning. Thank you, Yemi.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer. Being successful in business means overcoming enormous obstacles to serve your customers and community. AM 560, The Answer, wants to shine a spotlight on businesses that are thriving. We want to celebrate their success by finding out what makes these businesses unique, successful, and what we can learn from them. We want to know how you built it. Presented by Chicagoland Waterproofing. To tell us how you built it, go to 560theanswer.com/built. That's 560theanswer.com/BUILT. Sponsored by Signature Bank and Ozinga.
Raj Shah, host of Secure Retirement Radio.
Safety is what I preach as far as from an investment philosophy to protect your money. However, putting your money in CDs is not the only way to get safety. The whole problem is that people are not aware of what other options are available to create that safety net for your 401k or your IRAs.
Tune in for Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah, Sunday mornings at 7 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Everything you do is for your family. The long hours you work are to give them the most comfortable life possible. But as a commercial driver, you're constantly missing milestone events and quality time. It doesn't have to be that way. As a regional carrier, Romar Transportation delivers intermodal loads and imports and exports from their transactional warehouse. This means you can tuck your kids into bed and kiss your wife goodnight. You don't need to sacrifice your lifestyle. Romar offers weekly pay, safety, and sign-up bonuses. With competitive health benefits, 401k, and vacation time, Romar allows you to live and work, not work to live. Call 773-376-8800 to apply today. Romar is also hiring independent contractors. Before it was mandated, Romar made sure to be ELD compliant. You shouldn't have to worry about jeopardizing your license when you're delivering. Romar wants you to enjoy the open road and earn a healthy living. Call 773-376-8800 to apply today. Romar Transportation Logical Logistics.
If you save $500,000 in an IRA or 401k, you know it's not really $500,000, right? Because you still have to pay taxes on that money. But here's something that will shock you. Some people will pay through the nose in taxes when they withdraw money from their retirement accounts, while a smart and savvy few will legally pay far less. Could you potentially save thousands of dollars in taxes on your IRA or 401k and keep this money for yourself? Yes, you could. Learn how in a free report called 6 Ways to Tax-Free Income in Retirement from me, Tom Fortino, host of the Alpha Wealth Hour. The free report could save you tens of thousands of dollars. Call 630-873-6326. It's your choice. Pay the IRS or keep this money for yourself. Call 630-873-6326 or visit us on alphawealthgroup.com. That's alphawealthgroup.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers. If you owe the IRS or state back taxes and cannot afford to pay them back, there's good news. Due to the financial hardship many are facing in today's economy, the IRS has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative. Qualifying for this program will resolve your tax problem, end all collections, and possibly reduce your back taxes by up to 90%. If you are facing wage garnishments, liens, bank levies, audits, or payroll taxes, it's not too late. Your circumstances may qualify you for this special program, protecting your savings and your assets. If you owe the IRS or state back taxes and cannot afford to pay them back, there's no need to worry anymore. Call the hotline at Victory Tax Solutions to see if you qualify and potentially save thousands. For this free information, call 800-813-1105. 800-813-1105. That's 800-813-1105.
AM 560, The Answer.
Sean, I have some good news for you about your concerns about the welfare state. America's stockpile of cheese is at its highest level in more than 100 years. We've got 1.385 billion pounds of cheese that could be converted to government cheese for the welfare state.
When I was a kid, that's what you used to have to do. Now we give them Visa cards and we pretend it's normal, like they earn the money.
All right, coming up, we're going to switch gears. Dan and Sean talk about what women really want.
Oh, tune in, baby.
6:36, but now we check the headlines with Tom Beck.
Thanks, Dan. Good morning. It's fair, 66 degrees in Chicago. It's 6:30. At AM 560, The Answer. I'm Tom Beck, and for Mike Scott. President Trump has reportedly told NATO countries to spend more on defense or else. New York Times reports the president sent letters last month to leaders of NATO allies and reportedly threatened to alter the U.S. global military presence if other nations don't step up and spend more bucks. An Iranian diplomat is one of the people arrested and accused of planning to bomb a meeting of an exiled Iranian opposition group in France last weekend. That meeting included President Trump's attorney Rudy Giuliani, former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich, and former FBI Director Louis Freeh. A federal judge says the Trump administration has wrongly detained folks who are seeking asylum in the U.S. The judge ordered Department of Homeland Security to stop making blanket determinations against most asylum seekers. Illinois' other candidates for governor will likely be on the ballot come November. The Illinois Republican Party says it will not challenge Sam McCann or Cash Jackson's signatures. That sets up a four-way race with Bruce Rauner and J.B. Pritzker representing the Republican and Democratic parties. A man is in serious but stable condition after being shot by a police officer on the city's south side last night. Police say the officer had left a store near 79th and Yates and got into his vehicle. When the man approached and pointed a gun at him, the officer then shot him. And the Army in Thailand says the boys' soccer team that's stranded in a cave might be stuck underground for months. Rescue crews are fighting rising water as they try to bring food and medical supplies to the 12 boys and their coach. News the service of Americash Loans. Americash Loans offers loans up to $4,000. Apply at americashloans.net, where you choose same-day check pickup from one of their 35 Chicagoland locations today, or never leave the house and receive your deposit the next day. Fast, friendly, convenient. Americash Loans, your money, your choice. AM 560 news time is 6:32. How bad's the traffic? We'll have the answer in 2 minutes on AM 560. The Answer.
Dennis Prager doesn't normally resort to name calling, but sometimes the shoe fits.
I hate calling people names, but it has come to the point where there are people on the left now so freely use Nazi that I think calling them an arrogant fool is somewhat mild, would you say, compared to Nazi?
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
At 6:34, checking roads from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Kevin Henry.
Thanks, Tom. Your biggest trouble so far this morning is on the inbound Stevenson, heavy Lamont to Cass, Harlem to Kedzie, and right around the Dan Ryan. An hour 7 from 355 up to Lakeshore Drive. 54 from the Tri-State. Outbound, not bad at all, though. 26 to the Tri-State, 36 to 355. Inbound on the Eden's taking you 20, slow from Foster. Kennedy in from O'Hare, just under a half hour. 14 from the Junction Express, save you some time at 9. 41 on your inbound Ike trip, 33 back out. The Ryan in at 24 minutes. Lakeshore Drive still looking good in either direction, but more closures in place for Taste of Chicago set up in Grant Park. Now Congress, Jackson, and Columbus all closed. The northbound Tri-State starting to see delays from 95th to Archer and 88 to the Grand Avenue curve. Traffic, a service of Aruba Tourism. Imagine if your daily commute was from your beach chair right to the crystal blue Caribbean Sea. It's time for an escape to sunny Aruba. Hop a daily nonstop flight from O'Hare to One Happy Island. Plan your Aruba vacation today at Aruba.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Kevin Henry on AM 560, The Answer.
Kevin, thanks. More of Chicago's Morning Answer comes your way next. Now your official Chicagoland forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Partly sunny, more humid, high 89. Wednesday, partly sunny, hot and humid. Scattered afternoon storms, high 90. Thursday, variable clouds, scattered afternoon storms, high 89. Right now it's fair, 66 at O'Hare, 69 at Midway, 66 along Chicago's lakefront. Next news update comes your way at 7 o'clock. Continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Now, more of Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And in for Amy this morning is Sean from Elmwood Park.
Droning the audience.
Noted relationship expert.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so this is a wheelhouse for you. Scientists from the University of Kent, as well as Iowa State University.
Because if anybody knows what women want, it's scientists.
There's
Go
no
ahead.
question.
Come on, Urkel, what do you got for me?
They carried out a number of tests to determine whether women are most attracted to benevolent sexists or to pajamas boy.
How did I do?
Well, to the extent that you even fit into the category of benevolent sexist. Benevolent, the key descriptor there. Yeah, so for just for your information, benevolent means well-meaning or kind.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought it was tiger in the sack.
That's different to hostile sexism, in which women are degraded, saying, for example, women's place is in the kitchen. So would you consider yourself a benevolent sexist?
No.
Yeah. Okay. So
now that I know benevolent doesn't mean what I thought it meant. No.
You're not in the control group here. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. Is that your experience? I'd like to hear from the fairer sex, of course, that you're more attracted to so-called benevolent sexists than you are to pajamas boy, the sort of the androgynous, girly man. The scientists find men who are sexist in a chivalrous way, in a protective way. Women are more attracted to them than they are men who treat women as equals, whether it's for whether it's paying the bill or whether it is you go downstairs and see what that noise was.
See, you wouldn't know it by my Adonis-like physique, but I'm old, and when I was a kid growing up, women didn't pay. That was something you just wouldn't allow. I remember working extra jobs because I liked women.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very expensive to date when I was a kid, sure.
Date, yeah. Mm-hmm. So this is one of those studies where I hope my tax dollars weren't paying for the study. These are the revelations from this study.
Like the lesbians in birth control, $350,000, the deal we got on that?
Here are some traits scientific studies in the past have found women attracted to: popularity, money, muscles, intelligence. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Things are looking up.
Well, you're right. So that's, nearly 1 in 10 people, or only 1 in 10 people, find intelligence to be the most attractive feature in a partner.
Then explain Mitch McConnell's wife.
Mitch McConnell's wife? Oh, you mean
transgendering Mitch McConnell with the old lady face. What's keeping her in the saddle?
Well, I mean,
oh, that's right, the contracts to the father.
Popularity,
yeah,
power,
I forgot.
status, perhaps. The women in the 5 study groups that these researchers conducted were asked to look at scenarios of interactions with men or profiles of men and to consider them as either a work colleague or a romantic partner. The scenarios included men who were kind in what is considered a sexist way, and men who treated the women as equals, didn't offer any special treatment. The women then rated the men's warmth and attractiveness, how willing they thought they would be to provide for, protect, or commit to them. And then women were also asked to rate their feminist views. Men who displayed benevolent sexist traits were consistently rated more attractive and at the same time more patronizing. The typical contradiction. I find you attractive and patronizing.
Well, that's how I've always done. You know, they love me they love to hate me. That was my thing in the 80s. I was big on that. But you know what I don't like about this study? I'd like to know who the women were. I mean, do they look like the women at a Starbucks in Boys Town? Who are the women polled? You know what I'm saying? Looks like a Teamster Union Hall meeting for all we know. We're taking their advice like they know. I want, hot girls telling me what they like. Not manly men. I don't need a chick in a size 14 yoga pant telling me what she finds attractive in men.
Holly and Hudson, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, boys. Oh, my gosh. This is such a fun topic. I love benevolent sexist.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm naming my boat that.
Well, I'll tell you what happens with women. So I'll give you a little overview. When you're 20, you love benevolent. You just love sexist. But then you love, as you get like 25, you love benevolent sexist. When you get near 30 and you're not married, you start looking again at Pajama Boy, thinking, well, he'll stay home with the kids. And then by the time you're 35, you would even take a benevolent sexist Pajama Boy.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Never thought about
That's
the
the
mashup
progression.
option. Yeah.
Just keeps going downhill. Basically, it's going downhill.
Here's something other that they suggested. Holly, let me test you on this, see if you agree. Women are attracted to men that are popular with other women because women tend to believe they'll be more kind and faithful.
Well, I'll tell you a quick little story.
All right.
I went on a cruise, met the cruise director, 40-year-old guy, never been married, women, old women, young women, fawning all over him. Of course, I thought he was gay, but now he's the father of my 3 kids.
It's great. White Speedo?
Exactly, because women loved him.
All right, Holly married Captain Stubing.
And
Thanks for the call, Holly. Appreciate that. That's fantastic. Dan in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan. I think this study is nothing but nonsense. I mean, you really think about it. If you're in Chicago and you have some young lady with a nose ring and a gauge in her ear, she's not going to treat you the same as, say, some girl who's on the farm and raises, crops and cares about people and goes to church. There's all kinds of different women, just like there's all kinds of different men.
Oh, you mean somebody from Indiana?
Sure. Sure. But, thanks for the call, Dan. I mean, I agree. Of course, these studies are generalizations, but they did show a group of 160 women photographs of shirtless, faceless men and asked them to give an attractiveness rating. The results, men who looked strong, muscular arms, toned torsos did far better than those who worked a little less hard in the gym. That's real shocking.
What kind of a guy?
This is some of these studies that have been done in this area, so it's just a generalization.
What kind of a guy do you think Tony Preckwinkle likes?
Well, she was married to a gentleman named Zeus.
Sure she was.
Well, she was, and then they got divorced. It didn't work out.
I think she likes the same kind of guy Hillary Clinton likes.
You mean Bill?
Yeah, sure, why not? Let's go with that.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today, finally, a decent day. Mostly sunny with a high near 75. That's nice. Prof, you can go out hacking with your new hairdo. Tonight, partly cloudy overnight with a low around 69. Wednesday, partly sunny with a high near 83. And you know what? This is when John Cass is going to be cooking outside, and that's sweat weather for him. Mostly cloudy overnight with a low around 75. Thursday, sunny, 88. And I'm doing the show in the morning with Bruce Wolf on Sunday. Now we're going to go to Kevin Hendry on traffic. What?
Headed in on the Edens.
Did I say
You're looking
Sunday? I meant Thursday. Go ahead.
Headed into the Edens, you're slow in Foster to Montrose. It's 20 minutes from Lake Cook, outbound 19. No issues on the spur. Kennedy in, starting to see delays building most of the way in. 29 from O'Hare, 14 from the Junction. Express save you time at 9 minutes. The inbound Eisenhower, that's tight from Mannheim to Harlem. Independence to the Burn, 41 from 390. 28 from Mannheim. Outbound trip taking you 33. Inbound Stevenson, your worst spot. Heaviest between Harlem and Kedzie, an hour 7 from 355. 54 just from the Tri-State outbound at 36. Ryan in at 24. I-57 in 23. Same on the Bishop Ford. On the Tri-State northbound, delays from 95th to Archer, as well as 88 to Grand. A westbound 290 exit ramp is slammed. I'm Kevin Henry in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. American manufacturing grew at a faster pace last month. Construction spending also on the rise, and Tesla issues a good news, bad news report. Those stories next.
Hey, this is Ricky from Banyan Hill. I want to get a few things straight. First off, I like freedom. Second, I like money. Fact is, I like freedom and money, which is why I love Freedom Checks, a unique investment that can secure your retirement income without being tied down to the government. And while I'm no genius, I am smart enough to follow an expert like Matt, who showed me how anyone has the chance to stake their claim on an estimated $34.6 billion payout. To get all the details from Matt, just go to myfreedomchecks.com. Thousands of people are already lined up to cash in. Take Doug, for example. He's a 46-year-old from Joplin, Missouri, who's set to get a check for $24,075. Now, how much your check is depends on how much you put behind Matt's insights, but the potential here is undeniable. Of course, if you want the chance to grab your full fair share of this $34.6 billion, you must have your ducks in a row ASAP. So don't wait. Go see Matt at myfreedomchecks.com. That's www.myfreedomchecks.com.
And yet another sign of the strength of the American economy, manufacturing expanded at an unexpectedly fast pace in June. It was the highest level since February. New orders overall, as well as hiring, also moving higher. Construction spending up 0.4% in May, but the April numbers were revised slightly downward by the Commerce Department. The offsetting numbers a sign that even with the economy expanding, new building projects are still finding their 2018 footing. Tesla made more than 5,000 of its Model 3 electric cars during the final week of June, meeting and surpassing its own goals. But overall, during the second quarter, Tesla was averaging only 2,200 cars a week, raising industry concerns about its long-term production capacity. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Hey, Chicagoland, Dan Proft here, and I'm here with my guy Ryan Kelly at thehomeloanexpert.com. He's one of us, and he just gets it. Ryan, great to talk to you again. Look, obviously home prices are going up, and homes are moving fast. Somebody's looking to sell their home in the Chicagoland area. What do?
Well, if you're looking to sell your house, I tell you, just make up a price and put a for sale by owner sign out in the front yard, and you should have no problem selling that house. There's just not enough inventory. There's more buyers out there than there are sellers. But if you're thinking about buying a house, that's where you really better be on your A game. You better be pre-approved, and pre-approved by a strong mortgage lender. At the Home Loan Expert Office, when we pre-approve you to buy a house, we go over your credit with you. We go over interest rates, payments, give you a good idea of what you should be looking for and what your price points are. And then we pre-approve you on a gold piece of paper. Literally, our pre-approvals are written on gold. And we send those to the agents. They know that you're ready to buy. Don't miss the house of your dreams. Get pre-approved today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that use Balance of Nature as well.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
For more than a half century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, MUELLER, CPA.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Sean from Owen Park. And for Amy, we were talking about what women want. A new study suggesting they prefer benevolent sexists, over pajamas boy, men that treat them equally in all respects. And by that, the benevolent sexists, again, protective, chivalrous, right? Ralph in Rantoul has a theory. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer, Ralph.
Yeah, good morning. I think I remember you saying that the study consisted of flashing a bunch of shirtless, faceless pictures. So
that was another study, but that was
different study. All right, got it. Or for qualities. Well, it's no surprise to anybody, really, is it, that women would maybe make a choice based upon, all right, is he smart, funny? If we were to get married, would we have nice babies, things like that? Because there are still women out there that think about those kinds of things, versus, I don't know, if you have a lot of money and you have a gym-perfected body like J.B. Pritzker, usually you have to wait until you get your first couple of billion before you can get your trophy wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks
for the call, Ralph.
I want to know where the study is that tells us how all of a sudden we become the janitor in the relationship. Where does that happen? See, you wouldn't know, Prof, because you're smart enough not to be married.
Right.
I mean, next thing, I'm getting ordered around like I should have a name tag on my chest, for God's sakes.
Well,
Really?
how did that happen? When did it go from you being the benevolent sexist to you being
It's right when
a feudal serf?
Right when you realize a divorce will have you living in your car, that's when all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, I better take care of
It can be a clarifying realization.
Yeah,
sure.
sure.
I wanted to get to this story as well. I know that the Chicago Press Corps and Chicagoans generally don't seem to be particularly captivated by the story, but I am. This comes to us from the Chalkbeat website about CPS sex abuse scandal. The Chicago Board of Education president is a guy named Frank Clark, who used to be the president and CEO of ComEd.
Oh, great.
Mm-hmm.
Another well-run company.
They had their first board meeting last week, and a spokeswoman from the organization Raise Your Hand, which is otherwise, just kind of a blank check for CPS
That's what
advocate.
Raise Your Hand means,
But she brought up a really good point in open session. She has two CPS high school students, one CPS elementary school student. She pointed out that a little-known aspect of the district org chart, CPS lawyers who interrogated student sexual abuse victims.
Yeah.
And you heard their testimony before a legislative committee, state legislative committee, a couple of weeks ago.
Nauseating.
Those CPS lawyers who interrogated student sexual abuse victims reported to the district's general counsel, who reports directly to the board president. That means, as Ms. Biggs pointed out, that the school board president, Frank Clark, and his predecessors, like perhaps David Vitale, were briefed on these rampant reports of sexual abuse in schools over time.
And what'd they do?
Well, that's right. That's the question. It's the when, what did you know and when do you know it? When did you know it? But the org chart has the general counsel. So the lawyers report to the general counsel, reports to the board president. So, in terms of the executive level here, the chairman of the school board, the mayor of the city of Chicago, the CPS superintendent, how long did you know that there were hundreds of cases where city lawyers determined there was credible evidence of misconduct, much of a sexual nature, adults and children in the schools? And what she got from Clark and the rest of the board was stone-faced silence.
And you're surprised by this, Dan?
I'm not surprised, but I'm pointing it out because the only way you unravel this is to follow the information flow, to some extent follow the money flow, if that's particularly relevant here, and to start putting people on the dime, specific people with specific questions or specific allegations to which they must respond. And that's what happened at that board meeting, and that should not go without notice.
Let me ask you a question. You have a system in CPS, in public schools in general, that the more they fail, the more money and power we give them.
Not big enough.
So why would they ever not fail at anything? You see, what you're giving them right now, okay, they're going to run around, we're going to do this, and we're going to have this committee and this. What does that really mean to me and you? That means guys like me are going to pay more in property taxes to funnel money to these scoundrels' failures. And the whole time, me and over 50% of them are going to have to double pay by sending our kids to a private school because we won't tolerate this kind of failure.
Yeah, although
which is bankrupting a lot of us.
I got to say, as more information comes out and there are enough interested parties that are pushing for more information, people are not going to ignore a wide-ranging sex abuse scandal in a public school system or any system. They're not going to. So it's not kind of captivating the public yet, but I think before this is all said and done, it will.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for upstream-ideas.com. You're welcome, America. And that's not a statement a resident of Illinois gets to make very often with sincerity. But the nation owes a debt of gratitude to two Illinoisans who advance the cause of liberty for millions more Americans through their courage to dissent. Pam Harris and Mark Janis are their names. Pam is the mother of a young man with developmental disabilities who resisted SEIU's attempt to force parents of children with disabilities into its union, literally pitting parents against their children. Pam took her case all the way to the Supreme Court, which ruled in her favor in 2014. That set the table for Mark Janis, a child support specialist for the state of Illinois who challenged his forced membership in and financing of AFSCME. Mark took his case all the way to the Supreme Court, which ruled in his favor in June. Without Harris, there would have been no Janis. Without Janis, public sector workers in 22 states would still be second-class citizens with respect to their First Amendment rights. Courage begets courage. As I know them both, I can tell you what they would say about the history they've made. Don't worry about remembering our names. Focus instead on emulating our example.
Famous conservative quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
Ronald Reagan was quite accurate when he said, "The most terrifying words in the English language are, 'I'm from the government, and I'm here to help.'" Modern conservatives would wholeheartedly agree.
It's important we support companies that share our conservative values. If you are a manufacturer, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Kulchar from Automated Systems. As a software and systems integration company, Automated Systems creates custom solutions to make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. It doesn't matter if you're a Fortune 500 or a startup, Automated Systems delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, I encourage you, man, to talk to Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit automatedsys.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI.
Your business's finances are very personal. It's the determining factor on the course you'll take for your family and your employees. But what happens when you're reaching a phase when you need advice? You want to turn to an expert, but who can you trust? Look for someone who is both knowledgeable and involved in the community, like Fred O'Connor of Northwestern Mutual. Fred has worked from Wall Street to Europe in the financial industry But his calling as an engaged civic leader speaks to the earnest trust Fred has gained over his 30 years serving businesses and the families that run them. Fred serves on the board of the 100 Club of Chicago, the Big Shoulders Fund, and the Irish Fellowship Club. Fred can help you manage risk and plan for your goals, such as rewarding key people and strategies for business exit. Visit FredO'Connor.com to learn more about Fred's services and how he can take your business to the next level. That's FredO'Connor.com. Northwestern Mutual is the marketing name for the Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Fred O'Connor is an insurance agent of NM.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Sean from EP in for Amy J. And coming up at 7:07, we're going to talk to Ryan Weaver, who is headlining Rockin' for the Troops, the concert July 14th at the Kane County Cougars Stadium. We'll hear from Ryan on this Independence Day Eve at 7:07. Now we check the headlines with Tom Beck.
Thanks, Dan. The investigation's underway after a police officer shot and wounded a man last night. Time now for Fox News.
How will they get out? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's the big question in Thailand the day after a dozen boys and their soccer coach missing in a cave for more than a week were found alive.
How many of you? 13. Brilliant.
That's one of the British divers who finally reached the boys. Fox's Simon Owen monitoring it all live from London.
Dave, the governor of Thailand's Chiang Rai province, calling the discovery of the team a spectacular success. They're all said to be in a stable condition, and families have been celebrating.
Today is the best day. I've been waiting for my son for so many days. The first thing I'll do is hug him.
But a complex rescue lies ahead. Having been trapped by heavy rains, the Thai Interior Minister says the boys may need to learn to dive before they can leave, or they could be kept in place until the rainy season ends. But that's likely to be months. Dave?
Simon, President Trump's been up and tweeting a lot, criticizing Democrats, talking up the economy, defending ICE, and writing the situation with North Korea is going well. No rocket launches or nuclear testing in 8 months, but Secretary of State Pompeo will go later this week for more talks amid reports North Korea is secretly still doing nuclear weapons work. The president has 2 or 3 more interviews to go before deciding who to nominate for the Supreme Court. He tweeted he met with 4 very impressive people yesterday. His press secretary, Sarah Sanders, just told Fox.
Tremendous intellect, someone who will stick to upholding the Constitution, and somebody who has great judicial temperament. Those are the big things the president is looking for in a candidate.
The Senate's Democratic leader opposes all the possible justices on the president's short list, fearing abortion's legalization could be in jeopardy. Chuck Schumer's urging people to tell their senators not to support the nominee. If you're one of those who needs coffee to get going in the morning, sip on this. A new study of 500,000 British coffee drinkers found they were 10 to 15% less likely to die over their 10-year period compared to those who don't drink coffee. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Good morning. It's 70 degrees in Chicago. It's 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer, WIND Chicago. I'm Tom Beck, and for Mike Scott, hot weather is coming. A 4-way race for Illinois governor come November. The Illinois Republican Party says it will not challenge third-party candidate Sam McCann or Cash Jackson's campaign signatures. That sets up a 4-way race with Republican incumbent Bruce Rauner and Democratic challenger J.B. Pritzker. An investigation's underway after a Chicago police officer shot and wounded a man last night on the city's south side. WGN-TV reports police say the officer had left his store near 79th and Yates.
The officer was in the Family Dollar store and he just exited, and he was in his vehicle, just organizing some stuff in his vehicle, and the individual approached him.
Well, the man pointed a handgun at the officer, who then shot him. The man is in serious but stable condition. The officer is on a 30-day administrative leave. Guilty of murdering his wife 45 years ago, a Cook County jury found former attorney Donnie Rudd guilty of killing 19-year-old Noreen Rudd back in 1973 to collect on a life insurance policy.
It gives me satisfaction just to know that he's going to prison. He's going to be where he belongs. He's belonged there for a long time.
That was Noreen Rudd's sister. Rudd faces a minimum 14 years in prison when sentenced. Chicago police hope release of a video will lead to arrests of 4 people who robbed a woman in broad daylight in the Loop. Safety issues are given as the reason for the firing of the executive director of Chicago's Animal Care and Control. Mayor Emanuel's office said concern about shelter operations led to the charge. Concerns included dogs that posed a health and safety risk. And there's another bike rental service in Chicago. Uber launched its dockless bike service Jump yesterday in several South Side neighborhoods. Sports, Cubs and Tigers open a 2-game series at Wrigley this afternoon. Reds beat the Sox 5-3 in the first of 3 in Cincinnati. News coming up. AM 560 news time is 7:03. Where are the cars this morning? We'll have the answer in 2 minutes on AM 560. The answer.
It's become a summer tradition. Rockin' for the Troops returns this summer on July 14th at Northwestern Medicine Field in Geneva, home of the Kane County Cougars. Don't miss this year's lineup featuring Seventh Heaven, Ayla Brown, Rocky Lynn, The Voices, and Ryan Weaver. Proceeds will benefit Operation Support Our Troops America. Get your tickets today at rockinforthetroops.org. That's rockinforthetroops.org.
As a small business owner, you make every dollar count. So what could you do with $10? Go to Vistaprint.com today and you'll get 500 high-quality custom business cards for only $9.99. That's less than 2 cents per card. And at Vistaprint, your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. So it's never been easier to turn 500 strangers into connections. Just visit Vistaprint.com and use promo code 3030 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 3030.
Make your home an ADT home and help protect against break-ins, fire, and carbon monoxide. Get our lowest rate for fast response monitoring, starting at just $28.99 a month. That's about $1 a day from the most trusted name in home security. Get ADT's tested, trusted, and proven security and service, now at a great value. Don't wait. Call today. ADT. Always there. Now everywhere. Requires 36-month monitoring contract. Early termination, taxes, and install fees apply. Certain markets excluded. See terms and pricing at ADT.com.
At 7:05, checking roads from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Kevin.
Tom, we have some trouble on the inbound Ike extension. A crash at Wooddale slows you back to 355. Past that, slow from 17th to Harlem, central to the Burn interchange. 46 in building from 390 and 28 from Manheim. Outbound tightens up central to Des Plaines, 21 to Manheim. 34 out to 390. The inbound Stevenson still an hour from 355, 48 from the Tri-State, heaviest spot Harlem to Kedzie. Outbound just under a half hour to the Tri-State, just shy of 40 to 355. Slow in Cicero to Harlem and LaGrange out to 294. Inbound Eden's cleared up 19, outbound at 20. Kennedy in from O'Hare takes you 31, 18 from the Junction. Express only save you a minute, outbound 23 back to the airport. Coming in on the Ryan takes 25, inbound I-57 at 18, 23 minutes on your inbound Ford trip. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Kevin Henry on AM 560, The Answer.
Kevin, thanks. News was brought to you by Lowe's. If you're active or veteran U.S. military personnel, Lowe's would like to honor your service by offering you 10% savings every day on purchases you make in-store or online. For details, visit lowes.com/military. More of Chicago's Morning Answer comes your way next. Now your forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Here's meteorologist Garrett Beck.
It'll be more humid today. We'll have partial sunshine with a high 89. Partly cloudy tonight, warm and humid with a low 73. Then for tomorrow, partly sunny, hot and humid. There'll be a thunderstorm around in the afternoon. The high will be 90. I'm Garrett Beck on AM 560, The Answer.
Right now it's fair, 70 degrees at O'Hare, 68 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update at 7:30. Continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is powered by CharlesEquipment.com, keeping the lights on through summer storms.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
There you go. What's going on? Fighting at a church. I love it.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning is Sean from Elmwood Park. He's the one with the powdered wig, both because he's a committed originalist as well as to hide his bald spot.
It's all true. Take it easy with that thing you got on your head. Starting to look more and more like a divot.
What are you talking about?
Oh, come on. They still charge you the same price?
This is very stylish.
Yeah, sure.
It's become a summer tradition, and it's back. It's Rockin' for the Troops. It's happening Saturday, July 14th, Saturday, July 14th, at Northwestern Medicine Field in Geneva, where the King County Cougars play. Amy and I will be there. The proceeds will benefit the great work of Operation Support Our Troops America as they provide support for our military men and women and their families this year. Rockin' for the Troop features Seventh Heaven, Ayla Brown, Rocky Lynn, Ryan Weaver, and The Voices. And right now we've got a pair of tickets for the Rockin' for the Troops concert to give away to caller number, what number?
7.
Caller number 7 to 312-733-6993. Caller number 7, 312-733-6993 gets a pair of tickets to the Rockin' for the Troops concert July 14th at the Kane County Cougar Stadium. You can also purchase tickets for just $25 at the box office at Northwestern Medicine Field, or go online to rockinforthetroops.org. That's rockinforthetroops.org.
Now, is that Heaven on 7, the Cajun restaurant by Banos? I love that place.
No.
No?
Seventh Heaven
Oh.
is the name of the band.
Love
yeah.
that food.
Yeah. Okay, just doing a little bit of reporting on the reporters, the D.C. Press Corps, the repository of civility and fact-based information provision. Dan Rather tweeting yesterday about LeBron James.
He's still alive, huh?
LeBron, yes, very much.
Rather.
Oh, yeah, Rather too.
Whew.
LeBron James, who just signed that 4-year, $154 million deal with the Lakers. We know LeBron James has been outspoken about Trump, so it makes sense to head to California, the heartland of the resistance. The fact that he will be trying to resist the dominance of the Warriors is an added plot twist.
You're really at my Achilles heel here. You know, men in costumes chasing balls. Ooh, go home team.
Dan Rather?
Stupid to me. Basketball, football, communist kickball, all dumb.
Well, yeah, I think you're sort of missing the headline here. Number one, Dan Rather pretending to be a basketball fan. By the way, the Warriors picked up DeMarcus Cousins. And
How much information do you have in that head of yours?
This is the kind of fact-based reporting, quote unquote, that ended Dan Rather's career. That's one example. Oh, by related story, Brian Ross, another guy who liked to make up stories about people he didn't like.
This is the ugly guy that was the ladies' man, huh?
Brian Ross?
Yeah, right? He was the guy with he was the Harvey Weinstein of news. Oh, no.
No,
That's
no,
Matt
no.
Lauer. Never mind.
Yeah. What? No, not Brian Ross is the one who made up a story about President Trump directing Flynn to make contact with Russian officials that got him, even at ABC News, that gets you suspended for a month. Well, now he's leaving ABC News altogether.
There's
So
always
there you go.
NBC.
You know, in terms of, why anybody would doubt the veracity and integrity of the D.C. Press Corps, I just want to give you a couple examples. And then perhaps the best from yesterday, co-founder of The Verge, which is a Vox Media partnership, it's done in partnership with Vox Media, which is kind of the leading edge of the progressive intellectual left, Ezra Klein, Matt Iglesias. The Verge co-founder Joshua Topolsky tweeted, in respect to Ben Shapiro, that conservative political commentator Ben Shapiro was the Jew that helps other Jews onto the train.
Wow. And I saw I'm assuming he's referring to the Bill Maher interview on HBO.
Well, I think he's referring to Ben Shapiro generally. He deleted the tweet. And
Too late.
No, but he didn't apologize for it. I deleted it because a mob of right-wing babies were flooding my mentions, and it was frankly pretty annoying. He doesn't walk away from calling Ben Shapiro a Nazi collaborator. He just didn't like the reactions that he was getting.
The left calling conservatives Nazis annoys me on so many fronts because the Nazis were socialists. The left in America,
National socialists.
They are socialists. They're really their policies. You have yet to show me where there's a massive difference aside from the Hugo Boss big lapel outfits. That's really all I see.
Well, and it's interesting too because we talked about this a little bit yesterday when John Cass was here about civility and the civility in our political discourse, and particularly in the context of what happened on Thursday last week, the murder of 5 staff members of that Capital Gazette newspaper in Annapolis, Maryland.
I thought you meant Ann Esther saying it was okay for them to heckle us.
Well, I mean, but in the wake of the Capital Gazette shooting, then you had a number of people intimating, if not outright suggesting, that President Trump's rhetoric was in part responsible for what happened. So civility was the topic with the aforesaid Ben Shapiro and Bill Maher on his politically incorrect show over the weekend. And Shapiro had this to say about civility in this exchange that they had.
I watched that campaign. I don't think that Donald Trump could collude with his own left foot.
Well, I don't think he did it, but his son
did it. The people who Mueller is
And when
indicting.
the evidence comes out, I'm happy to go for the indictments. I'm fine with the indictments.
Great.
Okay, criminal activity is criminal activity.
But you see
That's
what
fine.
you see.
But I'm not
Yeah, that we'll get to that in a second. That's about Shapiro impeachment. Here's Shapiro and Maher talking civility.
I mean, and it's not just lock her up. He talked about locking Comey up. He talks about locking journalists up. There's a guy who said lock Tim Kaine up. How about we stop the lock them up? Shouldn't the civility argument start there before we care about who gets their entree?
Well, it isn't just about who gets their entree. It's about who gets harassed in public. By the way, I'm not going to make excuses for
But which is more important?
Well, I think that all of it is important. If you're going to ask me, I think we can chew gum and walk at the same time, can't we? Can't we just say incivility is bad across the board?
Yes, but you can't be a person...
Why is it that we're only opposed when you're Democrat? You're only opposed to incivility when it's Donald Trump. But suddenly Maxine Waters is anti-Maxine.
Because, Ben, you can't walk into a room and see an elephant and a mouse and not know which one is bigger.
But it's not an elephant and a mouse. It's two elephants.
But it is. Really?
Yes.
Threatening to lock up journalists...
I needed 600 officers to protect me at Berkeley. Yes, it's an elephant and an elephant. Yes, it's an elephant and an elephant.
Okay,
when Joe Biden in 2012 says to Mitt Romney that he's going to put y'all back in chains about black people. This stuff pre-existed Donald Trump. Donald Trump is terrible on this.
Yeah, what about that on civility? And in addition, not just that, also in that same show where Bill Maher is offering a harangue on civility, he and Michael Moore are talking about the rise of fascism. Trump is a fascist. He's not going to leave office. We know this. This is just a fact. It's to be accepted. Trying to, rev up the base, their base, the socialist base, against this onset of fascism as they're describing it.
You mean the pro-Cuba Michael Moore? And another thing, thank you for reminding me why I never watched this show. I mean, Shapiro sounds like Kushner on meth. I mean, I thought
he does have a bit
I
of a
thought
high
Bill
voice.
Maher had an annoying voice. Are you kidding me with this guy? But what you really see there is his capitulation. I thought, I watched it. You sent me the whole thing, 11 minutes and 20 seconds of it. And I thought he did a disservice to conservatism in his showing Bill Maher his belly to rub it. There was no pushback on any hard issue other than the two elephants. That was it. He capitulated on virtually everything. When you're talking to a guy in Bill Maher who is an absolute and total socialist, who is a sympathizer to totalitarian states as long as he agrees with them, who wants everything we as conservatives stand against.
Yeah.
And this is the role, this is the debate you're going to have with him?
You know how liberal fascism, right, Jonah Goldberg's book, and the point about Nazis being National Socialism, that fascism is a ideology of the left. Bill Maher, and this is maybe going to offend some of our libertarian friends, but he's a libertarian totalitarian. And that's not an oxymoron either. He's the repository of truth, and so he will do anything in furtherance of he as the beacon of truth. And so that's a little bit of what you see playing out with Michael Moore later in the show. We talked about yesterday with the whole kind of statement of fact that Trump is not going to leave office and this is the rise of fascism and you're going to regret not having stood up when you could have stood up to stop the rise of the Reich, which is a reference essentially Michael Moore used explicitly. And here's what happens on these shows, too. I love when conservatives go on these shows like Shapiro if they're willing to do intellectual battle, but not when they're, sort of trying to seemingly be a part of that milieu. And so Shapiro being asked by Bill Maher, would you ever vote for a Democrat?
Okay, so you would not vote for a Democrat under any circumstance or some circumstance?
I mean, I would say some circumstance, but the Democratic Party would have to stop being insane, meaning that they would actually have to approach something like moderation in terms of policy and also present a face that doesn't look like people shouting down people at gas stations or entering restaurants and trying to throw them out.
Yeah, okay, fine on the last part of that, but a moderate Democrat?
There's no such. First of all, if you cannot identify the modern Democrat as yesterday's Soviet, you're not paying attention or you're ignoring it. If you cannot identify the problem with the Republican Party is that they have morphed into this soiree of well-managed socialism that we used to call Democrats, then you're not a conservative to me. See, a conservative, sometimes you have to root for the principle, the fundamental, more than the result you want. So this is my biggest problem with the modern-day Republican, who is willing to implement all of the socialism of the protectionist while pretending it's an alternative to the outright socialist.
Steve in Hinsdale, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, Dan, I just wanted to comment real quickly on this concept of blaming Trump for everything. I mean, if you in the next 5 minutes make a pejorative comment about women drivers and how bad they are, which of course they are.
Hold on, traffic's in about 4 minutes. Just hang on.
Well, if I stop and hit the next woman I see, okay, and I'm driving, can I blame Dan Prost for that? Well, of course I can't. I mean, this whole, it's just so stupid that these people blame Trump. We are responsible for our own behavior. Dan, I would like to blame you for everything I do wrong. When can I start to do that?
Yeah.
Thanks much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for the call, Steve.
Well, when a dirty Mercedes cuts you off and a Titleist flies out of the window and hits your car, then you blame Dan Proft.
Yeah, well, exactly. Then I would be responsible. That's a scenario that's plausible. Shapiro also got into this back and forth with Maher about the Russian collusion investigation. Again, sans evidence, Bill Maher has already concluded that collusion did in fact occur in some material way that makes the president illegitimate and the subject of impeachment. And Ben Shapiro is open to that possibility.
I watched that campaign. I don't think that Donald Trump could collude with his own left foot.
Well, I don't think he did it, but his son did it. The people who Mueller is
and when
indicting.
the evidence comes out, I'm happy to go for the indictments. I'm fine with the indictments.
Great.
Okay, criminal activity is criminal activity.
But you see
That's
what
fine.
you see.
But I'm not going to attribute to Trump something he didn't do when he's too ignorant to have done it.
Well, he's not too ignorant. He's not too ignorant to be a criminal,
is he
Ben. He's been a criminal his whole life.
Okay, but
we've seen that.
Bill.
He's a scam artist. He's a con artist.
I don't know how I turned into the Trump defender here, but is he a doofus or is he an evil genius? You got to pick one.
Okay. Actually, you don't. You don't have to pick one.
Really?
Look, I'm not saying he's like Hitler, but
here I go.
But Hitler was crazy, and he was a genius at what he did, which was lie and manipulate people. So you can be both. Okay, but let's get back to Russia, because I first of all, why a nice Jewish boy like you wants to be on Team Treason, I have no idea.
Treason.
But
dude, I'm happy to wait for the Mueller indictments, and if they come down and they target Trump, I'm happy to see him impeached.
Well, one, just to please enjoy that moment of civility that you were afforded from Bill Maher.
What about Uranium One and the Clinton Foundation?
What about what Ben Shapiro just said about I'm happy if the indictments come down, I'm happy to see Trump impeached? I think what he's trying to say is, go wherever the facts lead, and that's all well and good. But here we are a year and a half in, and even Trey Gowdy, a defender of institutions like the Department of Justice and FBI reflexively, is at his wit's end. A shred of evidence, any indication that a shred of evidence could be forthcoming with respect to Russian collusion, there is nothing. And you go on a show like that and you try and kind of present the reasonable guy in the face of the insanity of the left and the demagoguery of Bill Maher, instead of pointing out, hey, I know I'm going to be unpopular in this crowd with all of those clapping seals in the audience, but there is nothing that's been presented. So if you or Adam Schiff from Area 51 have anything to present, then exactly what Trey Gowdy said, then send it to a grand jury, wrap it the hell up, and shut the hell up if you don't have anything substantive to say. You're just spinning conspiracy theories like the Alex Jones types you ridicule. You're of the same ilk of that.
And if you listen to what Bill Maher was saying, what was he really saying? He's saying the only collusion he even believes is through proxy of Trump's son. But yet the proxy...
then there's no evidence of that
There's
either.
no evidence, right. But I'm just saying his accusation. But yet the absolute provable proxy corruption of Joe Biden's son, of Kerry's son, this doesn't bother him. Collaborating with actual communists and enemies of our state to build billion-dollar fortunes, that's nowhere to be found. We have the evidence.
Lying to the American people, as we now know the Obama administration did in painstaking detail, to advance the Iranian deal, trying to get banks to commit illegal acts in furtherance of this illicit deal to nuclearize Iran, essentially.
It's like a daily family party.
I mean, but that's not treasonous conduct. That's not even concerning conduct. That's not, as you said, getting into bed with enemies of the state, the lead state sponsor of terrorism the world over. I mean, and then at the same time, they turn around and the next intemperate tweet or utterance from Trump, and they wave the flag of civility.
Yeah,
it is
right.
It's a two-step. It's a scam. It's a rhetorical scam, and that's what the likes of the left are good at.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I wrote all over the weather thing, but I remember it, Justin. Don't get nervous. Today, mostly sunny with a high near 75. Tonight, partly cloudy overnight.
Why are you yelling at the weather?
Yelling at Justin, mainly because I'm confused by his attire. Tonight, partly cloudy overnight with a low around 69. Wednesday, partly sunny with a high near 83. Mostly cloudy overnight with a low around 75. Thursday, when I'm filling in with Bruce Wolf, where we can really get the Jewish perspective, it's going to be 88. Then mostly cloudy overnight with a low around 67. Now we're going to go to our guy, Kevin Henry.
Let's start with the tri-state northbound delays. 75th to the Hinsdale Oasis, 88 to Grand. You have a slow westbound 290 ramp. 355 northbound tight from Boughton up to 88 as well. Inbound Eisenhower slammed from 355 to Wooddale with a wreck. Also slow from Central all the way into downtown. 54 390 to the Burn Interchange. 26 from Manheim. Outbound on the brakes from Austin to Des Plaines. 20 to Manheim. 33 out to 390. Outbound Eden's at 20 minutes. Slow from Pratt to Niles Center. The inbound Kennedy, a half hour from O'Hare. 19 from the Junction Express, save you about 4. Those express lanes are jammed from Ogden. Over on the Stevenson inbound, you're slammed Harlem to Kedzie, an hour from 355. 48 from the Tri-State, out to the Tri-State 29, 39 to 355. I'm Kevin Henry in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens. And they need people who can keep up. With the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
Make your home an ADT home and help protect against break-ins, fire, and carbon monoxide. Get our lowest rate for fast response monitoring, starting at just $28.99 a month. That's about $1 a day from the most trusted name in home security. Get ADT's tested, trusted, and proven security and service, now at a great value. Don't wait, call today. ADT, always there, now everywhere. Requires 36-month monitoring contract. Early termination, taxes and install fees apply. Certain markets excluded. See terms and pricing at ADT.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
In my practice, I was getting to the point where I couldn't have the strength to see that many patients anymore. I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis. It really affected my breathing and the strength that I had. And I was introduced to the fruits and veggies. Just slowly, my strength started to come back. And it was because of the good nutrition. I can't say enough good for Balance of Nature and what it's done for me. I recommend it to everybody.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
16 million people suffer from depression in this country. 6 million of them have drug-resistant depression, which means they do not find any relief. Hi, my name is Ben Klein, and I know this very well, as my oldest daughter suffers from depression, and she did not find any relief from the drugs. We found TMS therapy, and we got her the treatment, and it completely changed her life. If you're one of those 6 million people who suffer from drug-resistant depression, contact us. It can change your life too.
HBR centers in Chicagoland and Milwaukee offer TMS therapy. In just a few weeks, you can change your life. And it's FDA cleared. It's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Medicare. In a natural way, you can make real progress in the battle with depression. Cure or remission. Get a free consultation. 800-604-0208. 800-604-0208. HPR Centers. Go to endmydepression.com. End your depression.
AM 560, The Answer.
Time for a quick call, talking about Ben Shapiro's appearance on Bill Maher in the context of the whole civility debate. Disingenuous as it is, ongoing inside the Beltway. Candace and DuPage, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. Great show this morning, guys. I think they brought Shapiro on because he has criticized Trump. I can't imagine they'd ever bring on any GOP like Dennis Prager or Mark Levin because they get the floor mopped with Bill Maher. But my second point is, now that I've heard this from Shapiro, because I started hearing about it yesterday, I think he's no better than a Milo. He's just a better speaker and does less, maybe drinking or partying. Because, I mean, basically what he said was he doesn't really have any standards. Doesn't he have like standards or like, values that make him vote for the GOP? Or is he just like
does the GOP have values and standards?
Well, I think Shapiro describes himself as sometimes Trump, which I would describe myself as too. If he does something in advance of conservative principles, then I'm a cheerleader. If he doesn't, then I'm booing. And that's how Shapiro described himself. So I think Shapiro's a fighter. I just think in the moment, rather than a bit of jujitsu with Bill Maher with his hysterics, he sort of kind of did hey, I'm a reasonable guy. I'm not a monster conservative. Well, I know. So do I. So do I. It should have been jujitsu. That's how you fight intellectually. And instead, he sort of was back on his heels saying, hey, look, if they come up with evidence that there's no earthly indication they have, then I'd be fine with Trump being indicted or impeached or all of the above. It was weak.
He's the cowardly conservative. That's the new nickname. Yeah, cowardly conservative.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go that far on Shapiro. I just wanted to illustrate that because even somebody who is usually the tip of the spear, like Shapiro, you go on those shows and you try and fit in and you want to be reasonable instead of always being on offense. And so it was just sort of a lesson, I thought. Thanks for the call, Candace. Appreciate it.
And I'll tell you what, did you ever see Christopher Hitchinson on that show?
Christopher Hitchens.
Yeah. Hitchens. Did you ever watch him on that show?
Yeah.
He dominated, and he never backed down. I love that about him.
His brother is the better Hitchens when it comes to intellectual prowess. But okay. Coming up at 7:37, we're going to talk to CNN chief economist Steve Moore. If manufacturing is growing at a record pace, then why the tariffs? But now we check the headlines with Tom Beck.
Dan, thanks. Good morning. 70 degrees in Chicago. It's 7:31 on AM 560. The Answer. I'm Tom Beck, in for Mike Scott. President Trump took to Twitter this morning to talk about his success while bashing Democrats and the media. The president praised the economy and noted his diplomatic efforts with North Korea. He said Democrats and the media are the opposition party, and they keep complaining about his success. New York Times reports the president is telling NATO countries to spend more on defense or else there's going to be a change. He threatened to alter the U.S. global military presence if other nations don't step up and pay more. Automakers say the tariffs President Trump is threatening on imported cars could add $4,000 to $5,000 to the price of every new vehicle. A man is in serious but stable condition after being shot by a Chicago police officer on the city's south side last night. Police say the officer had left his store near 79th and Yates and got into his vehicle when the man approached and pointed a gun at him. The officer then shot him. Illinois Commerce Commission judge has sided with an embattled Chicago towing company accused of hauling away cars illegally. Judge recommended Lincoln Towing Service keep its state license. Lincoln said the violations were inconsistencies between the company's records and the commission's. News and service of Aruba tourism. Imagine if your daily commute was from your beach chair right next to the crystal blue Caribbean Sea. It's time for an escape to sunny Aruba. Hop a daily nonstop flight from O'Hare to One Happy Island. Plan your Aruba vacation today at Aruba.com. AM 560 news time is 7:33. How bad's the traffic? We'll have the answer in 2 minutes on AM 560. The Answer.
Dennis Prager. The Dennis Prager Show.
One of the reasons that there are no competing goods for the left on this issue is they don't really care if we are inundated with illegal immigrants. That's one reason. Another reason is everything is seen in the prism of how can it hurt this administration.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Hey guys, Ken here from the Business Accelerator podcast, Today's Growth. If you had to choose a vehicle to take you up the rocky side of a mountain, would you choose a Ferrari or a Jeep? The Ferrari's faster, cooler, maybe even sexier, but if you have to get to the top, the Jeep's a better bet. I think we can agree getting to the top is not about the driver, it's the vehicle. Have you noticed people often pick their financial vehicle like they pick their cars? Washington Post shared that only 1 out of 4 people choose a job that uses their college degree. Why? Simple. Something more immediate, maybe cooler, maybe even sexier came along first. Shouldn't the main deciding factors for revenue generation be production or output? Should the cool factor have any weight in choosing someone's income? If getting to the top of the financial mountain is mission critical for you, why not add a few Jeeps to your garage? Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that makes it to the top every time? If so, you have to see the Jeeps lined up at incomestore.com. That's incomestore.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
I look at Balance of Nature and I look what it's doing for me as I've started taking it, and for the patients that I have that are taking it, it's been phenomenal watching the changes that have happened and how much healthier and how much more energy that they have. I haven't heard any negative feedback from any of my patients who have been taking the product. The thing that amazes me with it is that it's so simple.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
At 7:35, checking roads from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Kevin.
Thanks, Tom. In Grant Park, closures in place for Taste of Chicago set up. Congress between Congress Plaza and Columbus. Columbus between Monroe and Balbo. Jackson between Michigan and Lakeshore Drive. Lakeshore Drive itself, northbound, start to see delays coming off that Stevenson ramp on up to Grant Park. The Edens outbound, 20 to Lake Cook. The Kennedy inbound, a half hour from O'Hare. 19 from the Junction Express. Only save you about 4 minutes. Ike inbound, the earlier crash near Wooddale is gone. Still seeing a delay on the extension, though, 355 to Mill, and very heavy from Laramie to the Burn. It's 45 minutes from 390, 30 from Manheim. Heavy northbound Tri-State from 88 to Grand, a slow westbound ramp. Traffic, a service of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Wishing you were on a big adventure instead of stuck in a little traffic? This Friday, join Ant-Man and the Wasp in the biggest movie of the summer, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Kevin Henry on AM 560, The Answer.
Kevin, thanks. More of Chicago's Morning Answer comes your way next. Now your forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Partly sunny, more humid, high 89. Wednesday, partly sunny, hot and humid. Scattered afternoon storms, high 90. Thursday, variable clouds, scattered afternoon storms, high 89. Right now, fair, 70 at O'Hare, 72 at Midway, 68 along Chicago's lakefront. Next news update comes your way at 8 o'clock. Continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Now, more of Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Tom Beck.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. It is Independence Day week. We will talk about America all week this week when freedom returns at 5.
Dan, and in for Amy this morning, originalist, colonialist.
Capitalist. Let's just sum it up.
Sean from Elmwood Park. And Sean, I know this is a particularly animating issue for you, so try to contain yourself. The question is, are we going to continue to celebrate the in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king philosophy on trade? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. The Trump tariffs, are they imposing a cost on our trading partners? They certainly are. China's manufacturing growth, export orders contracted for a third consecutive month, the most in 2 years, according to reports. So China's paying a price. Canada issuing $12.5 billion of retaliatory tariffs over the weekend. But the U.S. is paying a price, too, including the little guy, right? Because this is about protecting, the tariffs are about protecting the little guy from the predatory overseas competitors like the Chinese. Well, a story out of Maine that memorialized in the Wall Street Journal, the Maine lobster industry. The Maine lobster industry, which represents about 2% of Maine's economy, is suffering under the weight of Chinese tariffs on American seafood after the U.S. announced on June 15 planned to impose 25% tariff on $50 billion in Chinese goods. Beijing retaliated with 25% tariff on American seafood, farm products, and autos. On top of that 10 to 15% tariff China already imposed on U.S. and Canadian lobster. Meanwhile, the Chinese lowered the tariff on Canadian lobster to 7%. One CEO of a seafood dealer in Maine saying, I suspect that will virtually wipe out my company's Chinese sales, just to give you an example. So these are little guys, small business men and women, entrepreneurs that are the losers in the government game of picking winners and losers. So what say you to Trump tariffs in that context? 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
But isn't this always what happens when a few technocrats get to play with our macro economy? A few ideologues who pretend there's a we when we talk about the economy versus the private industries that participate in the economy? This is the false sense of a weaponized patriotism that gets people from the government to speak of Harley as if it was a state corporation.
For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Steve Moore, chief economist for the CNN, Wall Street Journal columnist. Steve, thanks for joining us. Happy Independence Day.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, happy 4th to you, too.
So what about that, the Journal story about the Maine lobster industry being hit, being, on the losing end of the Trump trade war, as it were, and where you think these stand, the battle for a lower tariff environment stands with all these retaliatory tariffs from our trading partners?
Well, I'm in Rhode Island right now in Newport, so I just had lobster for lunch yesterday. So, we need to have a thriving lobster industry, that's for sure.
Sure.
Look, I think that this is, this is the early skirmishes that you're going to see. There are going to be some victims of this, but I do believe in the end that Trump is going to win. I think these other nations are going to have to make some concessions, and they should make concessions. Trump has I believe, the moral high ground here. We have lower tariffs than they do. And so we'll see. I mean, look, there's going to be some pain and adjustment here, but I think in the end, I talked with my buddy Larry Kudlow just on Friday about this, and he's convinced that they can get the Europeans and Canada and a little tougher with China to start to make some concessions to level the playing field, and that's all that Trump wants is a level playing field. Now, if you're for unilateral free trade and you just want America's markets to be open to anybody who wants to come in, that's one thing. But if you want trade deals that are reciprocal, we don't have them right now. We just don't have them.
Well, I read your books for many years when I was at the Commodity Exchange, and I remember you used to be an Austrian economics expert who believed in unilateral free trade. And I don't remember reading where this tit-for-tat tariff plan that we've come up with now seemed to work. Can you point to a place where it's worked or a place where we didn't turn out like Venezuela?
Boy, I hate when people use my own words against me. But touche. Look, I'm a free trade guy, and you need to get Art Laffer on your show, by the way, because he will say exactly what you just said, that you never use trade, as a weapon. But look, my feeling is the optimal outcome, right, is everybody has no tariffs. Now, you might say, well, we're better off if we don't impose tariffs, even if they impose tariffs on us. I'm not so sure I believe that. I think we can use our leverage to expand American markets so we can sell more wheat and cotton, and we can sell more of our bourbon and blue jeans and computer technologies, and the fact that other countries are stealing them from us, and they're also imposing big restraints. I mean, the restraints in some of these countries in terms of Americans selling stuff abroad is tough. Now, I'll make one other point, which is, I think what all three of us would like to see is, no tariffs, that the countries can trade across borders pretty freely. But, when I was over at the White House last week, some of the some of the more protectionist folks over there, I won't mention any names, were saying, well, even if we had total free trade, the auto industry wouldn't be able to succeed, and therefore we have to protect them. I'm not for that. I think the steel tariffs are stupid. I think the auto tariffs are stupid. If you're going to impose a tariff on a country, impose just a uniform tariff on everything. You don't pick, industry winners and losers. And I think that's where Trump has made a big mistake because, just as I predicted on your show, 6 weeks ago, Dan, that the steel tariffs would be counterproductive, I think that's proving to be true.
Yeah,
we're actually losing more jobs as a result.
No, there's no question. That's correct. So since you were over at the White House and you regularly talked to Larry Kudlow, who's one of his point men in, I'm sure, ideological battle with Peter Navarro, what about the state of deals with the Canadians and deals with the Mexicans on a reshaped NAFTA, particularly given what happened in the Mexican election with the socialists rising to power on Sunday?
Yeah, boy, NAFTA is in a very precarious shape right now. There's no question about it, and in no small part because of what happened in the election. Although it sounds like the new Mexican president may be softening in his position on NAFTA. I mean, by the way, if you're in Mexico on NAFTA, there's something really wrong with you because Mexico clearly benefits from having access to America's $15 trillion consumer market. I mean, they won't be able to survive as an economy without it. Canada's a bit of a problem. I mean, they're now starting to retaliate. They're trying to puff their chests a little bit. You've got I don't know if you guys saw that Trudeau's approval rating went way up when he kind of stood up to Trump.
Right.
And so I don't think they're very close right now, frankly, to getting a deal, and that would be unfortunate because I think NAFTA has been good for all three countries. And frankly, look, we have some minor disputes with Canada, like their 250% dairy tariffs and some of their price controls on our drugs and vaccines, but they're also fixable. I mean, it would be so easy for this to get done, but I don't think they're very close right now. And boy, I'm worried about Mexico because we'll see how this new president fares out. But if he turns into his idol when he was growing up was Che Guevara, so if he tries to adopt Che Guevara, Castro type of economics in Mexico, it will be a total disaster for that country and for us as well.
Steve, listen, I'll stop pointing out the fact that Trump tariffs, to me, are the equivalent of telling somebody, stop beating your kid or I'll beat the hell out of mine. And I will move on to the fact that in what system, Peter Navarro, I bought his 1984 book where he, too, was a free trader, and then he flipped somewhere along the line. My question to you is, where did Peter Navarro really succeed with his ideology? Was he a hedge fund trader? Is he a self-made billionaire? How did he make his money that we now, the entire country, are led by one Peter Navarro? I'm curious.
Well, I think Navarro is somebody who he's written several best-selling books, but Death by China is one of his major books, and it appealed to a certain guy in New York named Donald J. Trump, and the two have been close intellectual allies for a long time. I don't know how Navarro makes money. I think he's mainly just a speaker and an author and a college professor. But I will say this, and look, I disagree with Navarro about a lot, but I think he was sort of forward-looking in terms of where China is today and what he predicted 6 or 7 years ago. China is becoming a tyrannical country. They are moving away from freedom, not in direction of freedom. They are becoming more central planning, more state ownership, more militaristic, and
so are we.
I think in some ways, what?
So are we.
So we, good point. Although, I don't think we need to spend $750 billion a year on our military. So you're right about that. But that's an interesting point. I'll have to think about that. But I think that Phil Graham had it said best when he said, "When the lion lies down with the lamb, I want to be the lion, not the lamb." So
I want to get your take. We haven't talked to you since the Supreme Court's decision in the Janus case.
Yes, I do want to talk about that.
Get your take on the impact that will have on public sector unions, the nation over.
Yeah. So this is I'm so glad you asked me about this because Art Laffer and I just have a piece that will be running hopefully in the Chicago Tribune in the next few days, and it's about how the blue states, like the biggest winners from this decision, and tell me if you think I'm wrong about this, guys, are Illinois, California, New Jersey, and Connecticut, because those are the four states that have these gargantuan unfunded liabilities in their pension systems, where Springfield, there's 2 states where the teachers' unions just rule the roost from, sun up to midnight, and that's Sacramento, California, and Springfield, Illinois. And this will possibly, if it works out as we hope, it will reduce that vice grip that the public sector unions have around the necks of the politicians. And maybe this will actually lead to some serious pension reforms that will actually revitalize states like Illinois and California. Now, that's my analysis, guys. I wonder what you think.
Well, I think that's right. I think that's a hopeful note, and it's sort of a medium term to see how much loyalty the SEIUs and the AFSCMEs and the teachers' unions have among the rank and file. I suspect particularly the teachers' unions will see attrition like they did in Wisconsin when Walker passed a budget repair bill. But in the meantime, in Democrat-controlled states, Wall Street Journal opining yesterday about New Jersey raising the state's income tax and corporate income tax on the wealthy to continue to drive people to Florida. So in the short term, they're going to continue with blank check government. In the medium term, maybe there's a rebalancing of power.
Well, I was looking at some of the numbers, and in Wisconsin and Michigan, when they adopted this kind of right-to-work policy for public sector unions, about 30% of the government employees dropped out of the union. So that was about a 25% decline in the revenues for the teachers' unions. So, I think this could be really good. This is the best news for Illinois in a long time. And all these commentators are saying this is some kind of assault on blue states. No, it could be the salvation of states like Illinois and California and New Jersey. We'll see. The problem is that the unions are so fired up right now, they may be able to get even more money from their members. We'll see how this plays out. But if it works out like it did in Wisconsin and Michigan, then I think you're going to see less power to the unions and more power to the people, which is a perfect thing to think about on 4th of July, right? We are a libertarian country that wants government to have as small a footprint as possible.
He is Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, chief economist for CNN. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right, I'm going out to get some lobster. See you guys.
And he joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Did you know that your sump pump is the heart of your basement waterproofing system? Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. You know how many sump pumps fail? That's right, all of them. It isn't a matter of if, but rather when your pump will fail. Unfortunately, you may not realize there's a problem until your basement is flooded and you've incurred thousands of dollars in damages. At Permaseal, we make it easy to have your sump system evaluated and a reliable pump and battery backup system installed. Call Permaseal today at 800-421-SEAL to schedule your free inspection. We've received many calls from happy customers whose basement and belongings were protected during this past rainy season. But don't take our word for it. Check out our reviews with the Better Business Bureau. You'll see that many of your friends and neighbors are part of the Permaseal family. Get the peace of mind that comes with a dry basement and a healthy home. You know who to call. Permaseal. 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning. In this show, long-form interviews are Against the Current series this week, still featuring Zach Wood, author of Uncensored, a liberal Democrat, recent Williams College grad, fighting for free speech on campus. It's a very interesting discussion, particularly on identity politics on campus and in the culture writ large. So you want to check that out. 60 seconds of sanity commentaries from yours truly this week on Janus, the Janus decision by the Supreme Court. Follow the Logic Man on the Street segments, Heart of the Matter, featuring professional women speaking collegially about the important issues of the day. This week on self-protection, 2A rights. And don't forget podcast for Illinois Rising program, which airs 3 p.m. on Sundays on these airwaves. And then our sister site, defendhomeowners.com, defendhomeowners.com, free property tax report on your home. See how the highest property taxes in the nation are affecting your home value, home equity, and updated home sales information on homes in your neighborhood and community. All the home sales and property tax info at upstream-ideas.com. Everything else at defendhomeowners.com. Everything else at upstream-ideas.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I went to have my blood test done a few weeks ago, and I met the doctor,
And he was really encouraged by my progress, and I showed him what I was taking. And he started looking at all the ingredients, and he said, I'm really impressed with the shiitake mushroom. And he said, this stuff, it could clean out your arteries. And I'm like, oh, wow. He said, you may be onto something here. And he said, you just keep that up, and maybe you can start cutting back on your medication. And he says, you're helping your health by doing that. And I'm like, whoa, endorsement by the doctor.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Tom Goleb, Chief Financial Officer of Navitas Systems, a leader in the next generation of advanced battery technology and a customer of Signature Bank. A few years ago, I heard Signature Bank on an AM 560 radio ad just as our previous commercial bank was being acquired. I knew Mick O'Rourke and Kevin Bastuga from a prior enterprise. I valued my relationship with them and the way they worked earned my trust and my business. So I decided to give Signature Bank a call. They took the time to understand our early-stage technology company that has its own set of challenges. Signature Bank took care of us, and now we are satisfied customers.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Who is Joe Donnelly really working for? As a U.S. Senator, we pay him $174,000 a year. So, Donnelly's taxpayer-funded salary is almost 3 times more than a typical Hoosier family makes. But that wasn't enough for Donnelly. Donnelly took more. His family business got caught outsourcing jobs to Mexico. Mexico Joe profited up to $80,000. And a past safety inspection of Donnelly's family business found serious safety violations that put its Hoosier workers in danger. A 6-figure taxpayer-funded salary, his family's business caught outsourcing jobs to Mexico, risking American jobs. Mexico Joe Donnelly profits with tens of thousands. Vote no on Mexico Joe. He's just not working for Indiana. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Around here, I get things done. When our company needs supplies, we need them fast, and the quality better be great. When it comes to labels, I turn to Diversified Labeling Solutions here in Itasca, Illinois, with plants nationwide. They take care of me through their network of independent distributors. No matter if I need barcode labels for my warehouse racks, durable labels for my products, or even shipping labels, Diversified can produce what I need. And they have capacity, lots of it. I've had them produce over 100 million custom labels in one run on their high-speed automated flexographic production lines. Diversified even handled a job for a trade show our CEO set up when we needed just 100 labels. Normally, the cost would kill us, but with Diversified's digital fleet, their distributor had the labels produced within a few days at a great price. Contact Diversified Labeling Solutions at teamdls.com/radio. They'll have a skilled distributor take good care of you, and you'll receive 15% off your first order. Again, that's teamdls.com/radio.
For more than a half-century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, Mueller, CPA.com.
Safety. It's so important at your industrial facility. You need to keep your personnel safe and meet OSHA requirements. One problem with your ladders, platforms, or safety guards, and you could be facing costly fines. Vans Industrial helps you meet OSHA standards to keep your employees safe.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. As a business owner, I realize the importance of keeping my employees safe, and I'm here to offer my expertise. Vans Industrial is a specialty contractor uniquely equipped to design, fabricate, and install safety equipment, including walkways, handrails, stairways, and machinery guards. Our Vans Industrial team can inspect existing systems, engineer solutions, fabricate quality goods, and install them with trained pros, all making a safer environment for your employees.
Call 833-VANS-IND for a free inspection of your facility. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS industrial.com. Quality craftsmanship since 1964.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Sean from Elmwood Park in for Amy, and just a point of personal privilege here. Pressbox is a Chicago-based dry cleaning startup. It was part of one of the stops on our AM 560 Signature Bank Business Tour this past spring.
Did you buy stock while you were there?
I wish I would have got on the ground floor. Chicago Tribune reporting they have been acquired by Procter & Gamble.
Whew. You should have bought stock, you big dummy.
Big time. Congratulations to Notre Dame grads Vision Patel and Drew McKenna on their success, and shame on Sean from Elmwood Park for being a faux entrepreneur.
You think they'd buy a box of cigars or something?
Coming up, are you proud to be an American at 8:08? But now we check the headlines with Tom Beck.
He's still conducting supreme job interviews. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Very interesting, though, was my 4 meetings. I'll be meeting with 2 or 3 more.
President Trump still working off that list of conservatives, which has Democrats worried. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
President Trump is narrowing the list of candidates to replace Justice Anthony Kennedy. White House spokeswoman Sarah Sanders on Fox and Friends said the president has a list of 25 stellar candidates.
The president has said he's focused on that list, and as of right now, he's going to continue to stick with that list.
Republicans control the Senate by only a slim majority, making the views of moderates, including some Democrats, critical in winning confirmation to the high court. Dave?
Well, John, the president has tweeted a lot this morning. In one message, he wrote, "If not for me, we'd be at war now with North Korea," adding things are going well. But his Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, will travel to Pyongyang later this week. Amid reports North Korea is still secretly working at a missile plant.
Most of the construction for the expansion of the plant, according to analysts, happened in May and June. That is basically between the summits involving North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and South Korean President Moon and President Trump. Not only is that one getting bigger, but there are 2 other missile plants nearby, according to experts.
That's Fox's Greg Palcott. The president also tweeted about a claim by a member of Iran's parliament that under President Obama, citizenship was granted to 2,500 Iranians, including government officials, during the Iran nuclear deal negotiation. The president added, "How big and bad is that?" Marie Harf, who was an Obama State Department spokeswoman, says it sounds like totally made-up BS. A team of 30 U.S. military specialists in Thailand helping plan how to get a dozen boys and their soccer coach found alive in a deep-flooded cave out.
The conditions are not ideal, and being able to get to the children and provide them, like, food and basic necessities.
Air Force Captain Jessica Tate, how to dive? They may have to dive to get out or perhaps wait months. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Good morning, 70 degrees on WIND Chicago at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. I'm Tom Beck in for Mike Scott. Chicago police say an officer shot and wounded a man last night after the man pointed a gun at the officer. Happened outside a store near 79th and 8th on the city's south side. The man is in serious but stable condition. The officer is on 30 days administrative leave. A former area attorney will face a minimum 14 years in prison after being convicted of murdering his wife 45 years ago. Prosecutors said Donnie Rudd murdered his wife in 1973 for life insurance money. 2 third-party candidates for Illinois governor will likely be on the ballot in November. The Illinois Republican Party says will not challenge Sam McCann or Cash Jackson's campaign signatures. That sets up a four-way race with incumbent Republican Bruce Rauner and Democrat J.B. Pritzker. Former Central Illinois Congressman Aaron Schock wants a judge to freeze his federal corruption trial. Schock's attorneys filed to put his trial on hold while they work on an appeal to a judge's refusal to dismiss charges. Schock is accused of lying on campaign and congressional spending reports. And Chicago police hope release of a video will lead to arrests of 4 people who robbed a woman in broad daylight in the Loop. Sports, Cubs and Tigers open a 2-game series at Wrigley this afternoon. Reds beat the White Sox 5-3 in the first of 3 in Cincinnati. AM 560 news time is 8:03. Time for a dry basement and a healthy home. Time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network.
From the Fox Business Network, multiple reports say Facebook is being investigated by the Justice Department, Securities and Exchange Commission, and FBI over its sharing of user information with Cambridge Analytica. A Facebook spokesman says we are cooperating with officials in the U.S., UK, and beyond. Could big changes be coming at Campbell's? The company includes its iconic soup brand, plus V8 Juices, Pepperidge Farm, Swanson, Snyder's Land Snacks, and Prego. The New York Post says activist investor Dan Loeb is looking into hiring a bank to explore a sale of the company. Futures are higher. The NYSE closes at 1 p.m. Eastern Time today for the July 4th holiday. The Dow Jones Industrials added 35 yesterday. NASDAQ added 57. The S&P was up 8. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
AM 560 news time is 8:04. Where are the cars this morning? We'll have the answer in 2 minutes on AM 560. The answer.
Sean Hannity, The Sean Hannity Show.
You effectively have just opened the borders, wide open borders. It doesn't solve the problem. And Congress doesn't want to do their job. Because if they really did, they could literally get it done in a day. If they really meant the things that they were saying, they would get it done for the sake of the children that they seem to care so much about.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The answer.
As a small business owner, you make every dollar count. So what could you do with $10? Go to Vistaprint.com today and you'll get 500 high-quality custom business cards for only $9.99. That's less than 2 cents per card. And at Vistaprint, your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. So it's never been easier to turn 500 strangers into connections. Just visit Vistaprint.com and use promo code 3030 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 3030.
Make your home an ADT home and help protect against break-ins, fire, and carbon monoxide. Get our lowest rate for fast response monitoring, starting at just $28.99 a month. That's about $1 a day from the most trusted name in home security. Get ADT's tested, trusted, and proven security and service, now at a great value. Don't wait. Call today. ADT. Always there. Now everywhere. Requires 36-month monitoring contract. Early termination, taxes, and install fees apply. Certain markets excluded. See terms and pricing at ADT.com.
Hi, at 8:06, checking roads from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Kevin.
Well, Tom, on the inbound, Ike, trouble again. Now at Costner, a rollover SUV takes out 3 left lanes, reported as a pin-in. Solid back to Austin, again from Holman to the Byrne interchange. 50 minutes now from 390 to the old post office, 35 from Manheim. Your outbound trip taking you 19 to Manheim, but an hour 4 to 390. Very heavy on the extension from York out to 355. Now over to the tollways, northbound on the Tri-State jammed from the Stevenson to 47th and 88 to Grand Ave. 355 southbound slammed from North to Roosevelt, northbound from 75th to the Reagan Army Trail to 290, and 53 southbound slows from Palatine down to Kirchhoff. Traffic is a service of Lowe's. If you're an active or veteran U.S. military personnel, Lowe's would like to honor your service by offering you 10% savings every day on purchases you make in-store or online. For details, visit lowes.com/military. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Kevin Henry on AM 560, The Answer.
Kevin, thanks. More of Chicago's Morning Answer comes your way next. Now your forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Here's meteorologist Garrett Beck.
Today will be more humid with partial sunshine. The high will be 89. Tonight, partly cloudy, warm and humid, low 73. Then tomorrow, partly sunny, hot and humid, with a thunderstorm around in the afternoon. The high will be 90. I'm Garrett Beck on AM 560, The Answer.
Right now it's fair, 73 at O'Hare, 71 along Chicago's lakefront. Next news updates at 8:30. Continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues now on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning, Sean from Elmwood Park. And Sean,
making a lot of friends here.
Yeah, the shame mobsters are making about as many friends as you are. They're actually driving people out of the Democrat Party. So much so there is a burgeoning social media campaign, #walkaway. Have you seen this? People telling their walkaway stories from the Democrat Party, walk away from the left. Proud Latino who #walk away from the Dems back in 2016. No one will use my ethnicity to control my vote ever again, for example. I stopped identifying with liberalism when it became the new fascism, and a satire of the somewhat noble principles it was founded on. When your political party says you need a government that sets policy based on listening to children, it's time to #walk away.
Wonderful. That's our hope. Thinking people are always our hope.
It's very interesting, and it's also generated a new sort of social media star. It's an interesting story. I mean, this is the digital age. 2 months ago, Brandon Straka was a New York hairstylist with $300 in a savings account and a struggling side job as a performance artist. Now, thanks to his starring role in a video telling Democrats to ditch their party, he's the head of a movement that's been embraced by the wider swath, of course, of Trump supporters and others of the center right. He released a video chronicling his decision to leave the Democratic Party and sort of started this hashtag campaign.
Wait a minute, you can make money for that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, if you
I thought you needed that Kardashian curve to make money on the internet, no?
Well, you can have other talents, apparently.
All right.
Yeah, so...
Somebody get a camera. Justin? Useless in there.
For your talent?
Sure, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to go over like a lead balloon. Okay. And why are they walking away? Why are all these Americans walking away, I wonder? Well...
Socialism fails?
Yeah, the Democratic Party just is at odds with what the majority opinion is on a range of issues. The Alinsky tactic of making the majority feel like their opinions are the minority, it's not working so much anymore. And let me give you an example of this. A Gallup poll released yesterday. 3 in 4 Republicans on the eve of this, our nation's birthday, 3 in 4 Republicans rated themselves as extremely proud to be Americans. 2 in 3 Democrats did not. That's pretty significant.
You can only deny the failure of socialism so long. Listen, it's demoralizing. Think about those guys who identify themselves as Democrats for decades because their father did and their grandfather.
Culturally, right.
The reality of what's happened in Chicago, we are the spear tip of the socialist failure. Has to affect you. You can't deny it unless you're in on the scam. Now, if you're selling milk to these son of a guns for the school program, you love it. But if you're not a janitor breaking wooden chairs, waiting for break to roll around, making $180,000 a year when your pension kicks in, you hate it. If you are, you love it.
Well, here's the thing. I overheard this conversation at one of the well-appointed clubs to which I'm a member yesterday.
Look at you.
Yeah. Is this guy talking? It's like 3 guys talking, and one guy says to the older guy, "I'm an under 40 brown-skinned person, so how could I be a member of the Republican Party?" And you know what? And you get that, and you get the brainwashing that's gone on, and I mean. I felt sad for that.
I don't get the brainwashing.
History
is very clear who the benefit to the minority party has always been.
I understand how it happens is the point. And I listened to that, and it's like a joke. This is like a sharp professional. I overheard him also say that he went to Northwestern.
Ta-da!
Yeah, right. So, but I mean, so this is no dummy, but the brainwashing of identity politics. Here's the thing, I think that only has so much of a hold, and when you go full socialism, when you go full crazy, then I think you're going to start losing those professionals, even who, once affiliated, once thought, hey, this sounds nice, were wooed by the sentimentalism. I want to consider myself a good person too. I feel passionate about these issues. I want to be involved, or at least feel like I'm involved. That only has so much of a hold for so long. And when thanks again to the digital age, when the reality is stripped bare and information is provided, the scales fall and the hashtag walkaway campaign starts.
Well, I'm torn, because here's where Marx was right. Socialism is a cancer that metastasizes like algae. And you have people who claim to be conservatives and Republicans fighting desperately for socialism. So my faith in how things are going to turn out isn't as strong as yours, that the Republicans are going to save us. I can't decipher in the majority of the philosophies. I don't know what a Republican conservative is anymore. I really don't. When you hear, and I love Stephen Moore, and I really do, and I tried to be respectful, but when you hear him now argue against positions he had 20 years ago.
He's not arguing against positions. Here's the problem that you have. You can't distinguish from somebody who says, here's where I'm coming from philosophically, to here's what we can do in terms of the political reality on the ground.
I don't want to.
And Steve Moore is trying to get the best deal we can in real time with the political reality on the ground, and a president in the White House who is not Ludwig von Mises.
Yeah, political.
So you have to be able to distinguish those positions before you start, saying Steve Moore or anybody else is necessarily selling out.
It's manipulation through propaganda, and it's not political on the ground. Are you have a fundamental belief system, or don't you?
Yeah, well, is
outrageous.
You're just supporting my argument by what you just said. It's non-responsive to the point, except to endorse what I've just said.
I don't want to be ruled by a few.
Your walkaway stories, hashtag walkaway. We've got some Reformed Democrats who listen. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Megan on the south side.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Love to hear you on, Sean.
Thank you. You're the one.
I just want to say that I was a Democrat my entire life until before 2016. And, I figured it out like pretty much everyone in the country could do. I'm not massively intelligent. I just started to pay attention. That's literally all you have to do, is start to pay attention and be a little bit discerning, and it will just present itself to you. The facts and the truth just cannot be denied if you pay attention.
Thanks for the call, Megan. Here's another example, just another walkaway tweet. My walkaway moment came only after I realized that if they'll lie about something as fundamental and obvious as the profound natural differences between men and women, they will lie about anything. The left's only principle is power.
Bingo. And you know something, Dan? That's what happens when you grow up in these neighborhoods. I couldn't help but notice Megan was calling from the South Side. Right, yeah. The South Side, where people are silent to the corruption that is open and notorious because of hopes that somewhere they'll get in on it, that they'll get in on the scam. And I think until
they don't see it, they don't see it as a scam. I mean, first of all, you have to start. They don't see it as a scam initially. They see it as my dad or my uncle is a city worker,
right,
or an alderman, or related to the alderman, or a bagman for the alderman, or the superintendent of the park district. They don't see it as that. They see that as just part of the way of life. And then you get inside and you start to see the scam, and you can't pretend like you don't. That's I think what actually happens. So it doesn't start out that way, and it doesn't necessarily need to be that way. But once you get inside, you just realize it is that way.
Run.
Lewis in Dayton, Texas.
Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing this morning? I was just wanting to comment about how surprised I am that this movement hasn't taken a hold a lot quicker, especially with all the promises that the left has made towards people of color and minorities. Two quick examples is, Dan, you look at the school sexual abuse that's going on in Chicago. Democrats claim to be for children of color minority. I guarantee you that a lot of this stuff is happening in those neighborhoods, but yet there's silence on this issue. And another one would be Obama when he gave $400 million to Pakistan. A lot of people voted for him because he said he was going to be there for, again, people of color, minorities, instead of giving that money to somebody maybe in Chicago, the city, lower groups. He gave it to a bunch of other people, but yet they still love him for it. So, like I said, I'm surprised with all these broken promises that the left has put out that this movement hasn't taken quicker, a lot faster, actually.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Los. I mean, there are early adopters or those that are recognize scams, as we're saying, more quickly than others. I mean, you come from West Central Cook County. You live in West Central Cook County. A lot of Democrats that are appendages of the status quo, the established power structure. But you've also have a lot of friends that have walked away.
Well, you know what I noticed in this Trump thing, this era of the new republicanism, he's elected by Union Democrats, and he's going to be reelected by them. And that is why his economic is that soiree of public sector infusion, and the protectionism is a boost to the union workers of America. So that's what's happening. The problem I have is the fundamentalist, the capitalist, the guy who believes in private property. He's on the outs. So you've got two versions of socialism, in my opinion. And Trump is playing it beautifully. And to his credit, I don't think there's any question he's going to be reelected, especially if Democrats are dumb enough to run a Soviet against him. I think he could be there.
Dan in McHenry.
Hi, Dan and Sean. It's good to talk to you guys. I really love the show.
See, Dan.
Been listening for a while. First time caller. Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
No, I'm sorry.
I was pointing out that some people we get a lot of hate. A lot of hate when I'm on.
He likes the show. You're rarely on it, so it has little to do with you. But Dan from McHenry, please continue.
Yeah, guys, I was just going to say that Sean made a comment earlier about where are the ideological conservative Republicans, and I happen to be one, and I can tell you they're still there. They're only about 25%, I think, of the party, and they probably only ever will be, but we're always going to be there. We're always going to be a strong enough vote for it to matter. The problem is the party is no longer focused on that particular demographic, I would say.
Well,
and that's sad,
yeah.
but
Yeah, I mean, I think
it's just the way it is.
I think you raise a good point, Dan. And here's the other thing: you don't need to be a majority to necessarily provide leadership, or certainly contribute to leadership, and that is you provide intellectual heft, your idea incubators that other leaders maybe that are more popular, more connected, more wealthy, whatever, can pick up and run with, and that's valuable.
And we lose
Thanks
it
for the
slow
call,
motion.
Dan.
Because we're always asked the same thing. We're always put in the same position. Lesser of two evils.
Yeah, I
Hold
understand
your
that.
nose. It's just despicable to me because we're getting way downstream. Look at our situation. No one talks about the debt. It's just pathetic to me. No one talks about Obamacare. In fact, Republicans in Illinois run on protecting it. It's all disgraceful.
Well, that is disgraceful. Don on the South Side.
Hi, I just wanted to comment. You made a statement a little bit ago about people on the South Side who remain silent. And the issue here is not that we're silent, but you have to play by the rules or you don't get a job. Nobody likes the fact that you have to pay somebody, your alderman, or make donations in order to get a job. You have to do it. You have to vote Democratic or you don't have a job anymore. And this has been in effect since the first Mayor Daley. I've had friends where their parents worked for him. So we have to do what we have to do in order to keep a job. It's not like we feel that it should be fair. And also the other fact is that many of the people that are getting jobs, once again, other people are being denied, not because they're not qualified, but because we have to meet a quota. Why can't we just all apply, get a job? If we meet the requirements, we do the interview, and we get in. Why are we paying for tickets and donations to the Democratic Party just to keep a job?
Because Burke has a tab on Rush Street that he has to pay. Yeah. And not to mention those comments that she's saying, that's the chant of every socialist citizen. That's every socialist, despot, backwater, corrupt country, from Mexico to Italy and in between. So I prefer the path of the dog in the background. Bark and bite.
Do you want to hear Brandon Straka's song?
Why not?
Brandon Straka started this walkaway movement that's starting to pick up steam. Let's give it a listen.
Let's dance in style, let's dance for a while.
Oh, a little.
He's better than you with a little glitter in the slipper there.
Yeah, Do you even know what this is a song?
Gonna drop the bomb or not? Let us die young or let us live forever. We don't have the power, but we never say never.
You know what that song is?
I have no idea.
The music that he said?
All sounds like the guy in the other room with the boy band.
Forever Young.
Can you imagine when this race is won? Turn our golden faces into the sun.
Let me guess, he's prancing around in a ballet costume with a feather duster.
Well, he's a New York hairstylist.
Sure, why
He's
would
got
he?
flair.
Forever young, I wanna be forever.
I can't watch another man.
Yeah,
Turn it off.
It's a little parody, or it's a little cover of the Alphaville Forever Young song.
That's when I would just want some big fat guy to run in with an axe handle and hit him.
Why? He's leading the walkaway movement. It's more than you can say. Vincent St. Charles.
Hi guys. Morning. I like the show, of course.
Thanks.
When Sean's not there, but
Yes, agreed.
I just want to talk. I'm in the private union, and a lot of my friends, and I've talked about this before. A lot of my friends are definitely conservative Republicans. We switched over, but I feel that we don't even have a party anymore. Democrats are shot. Forget them, and the Republicans don't like us. I mean, they don't really like the union. So it's like we don't have a party. But Republicans and the conservatives, of course, there's a lot of us. I mean, there's a ton of us.
No, I know, and I think, and this is a fault of the Republican Party. Where do you begin with the faults of the Republican Party? But to not make an explicit overture to the trades, and be careful to distinguish public sector unions from the trade unions. Thanks for the call, Vince. Appreciate it.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
All right. Well, I wanted to explain. It's not that I don't like the union. I don't like extortion at any level, especially mediocrity at extremely high prices of a bunch of guys waiting for break.
But that comment.
I got to do the weather.
And it's not like you don't like the union.
I got to do the weather today.
That's real helpful.
Mostly sunny with a high near 75. Tonight, partly cloudy overnight with a low around 69. Wednesday, it's going to be a little warmer. Thursday, it'll be 88. I yell at I don't like to do the weather. I know this one's not bad. All right, now we're going to go to Kevin Henry on traffic.
And Long Grove crews with an accident. Lake Cook around 53. Route 53 southbound slows Palatine to Kirchhoff.
Watch your team at 5. Cheryl Burton, Alan Krzyzewski.
Southbound 355 slows north to Roosevelt, northbound from Army Trail up to 290. On the inbound Ike, you had that earlier crash at Costner. That's gone, but heavy delays remain back to Des Plaines. 50 minutes from 390, 34 from Manheim. Outbound side taking you 16 to Manheim, 33 out to 390, slow from 83 to 355. The inbound Kennedy, 27 from O'Hare, 17 from the Junction. Use those locals. The Express are worse by 2. Stevenson inbound, 50 from 355, 40 from the Tri-State Heavy is Central to Kedzie. And the inbound Ryan costs you 32 minutes. I'm Kevin Henry in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Are you stuck in a bad home mortgage? Well, join the club that has about 10 million other American families. But I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges and Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest legal analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, I guarantee you'll never be alone in this country.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for upstream-ideas.com. You're welcome, America. And that's not a statement a resident of Illinois gets to make very often with sincerity. But the nation owes a debt of gratitude to two Illinoisans who advance the cause of liberty for millions more Americans through their courage to dissent. Pam Harris and Mark Janis are their names. Pam is the mother of a young man with developmental disabilities who resisted SEIU's attempt to force parents of children with disabilities into its union, literally pitting parents against their children. Pam took her case all the way to the Supreme Court, which ruled in her favor in 2014. 2014. That set the table for Mark Janis, a child support specialist for the state of Illinois who challenged his forced membership in and financing of AFSCME. Mark took his case all the way to the Supreme Court, which ruled in his favor in June. Without Harris, there would have been no Janis. Without Janis, public sector workers in 22 states would still be second-class citizens with respect to their First Amendment rights. Courage begets courage. As I know them both, I can tell you what they would say about the history they've made. Don't worry about remembering our names. Focus instead on emulating our example. Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Kevin Bastuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. If you get the feeling your deposits don't matter to your bank, then maybe you're not with the right bank. At Signature Bank, your deposits matter to us as much as your business loans. Signature provides unmatched banking expertise, custom financial solutions, and the industry's best technology to closely held Chicagoland businesses. Whether your business is looking for a deposit relationship or needs a ready source for financing, Signature Bank is the right bank for you. Call us today to see how Signature Bank can help your business grow and thrive.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When you conceal carry, you want to carry responsibly, safely, and with confidence. You want UltiClip. UltiClip was designed out of necessity. Traditional holster clips fail in performance, losing their retention or breaking. With UltiClip, you get the ultimate carry solution that replaces standard holster clips and features a smaller visible footprint than other clips. The patented design gains over 10 times the holster retention for better security and maximum concealment. Plus, UltiClip features the first multi-purpose tool and clip combo. And UltiClip isn't just for holsters. It can also be used for knife sheaths. Police departments are using UltiClip to secure their body cameras, badges, and other equipment. Stop wasting money searching for the right holster when you can upgrade and improve your current holster with UltiClip. Proudly made in the USA from spring steel and named Gear of the Year by Gun Digest. Go to ulticlip.com to shop and learn more about ways you can use the best retention clip available. That's ULTIClip.com. Ulticlip.com for ultimate retention and concealment.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Sean from Elmwood Park in for Amy J this morning. We'll take a couple more of your walkaway stories at 8:38. And also, could a porn star, prostitute, and a dopey fixer take down a POTUS? Maybe. Stephanopoulos' interview with Michael Cohen. But first, we check the headlines with Tom Beck.
Dan, thanks. Good morning. 73 degrees in Chicago at 8:31. AM 560, The Answer. I'm Tom Beck in for Mike Scott. The federal investigation into the Facebook and Cambridge Analytical data sharing scandal has expanded. Washington Post reports the FBI, Securities and Exchange Commission, and Federal Trade Commission have joined Justice Department investigators looking into whether data from 71 million Facebook users was improperly used by Cambridge Analytica. President Trump has ordered lowering of American flags nationwide for those who were murdered in the Capitol Gazette shooting in Maryland last week. Annapolis Mayor Gavin Buckley said the White House had initially denied his request to do so. EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt is the latest Trump administration official to be harassed while dining out. New York Post reports a sixth-grade teacher said she urged Pruitt to resign because of what she said he was doing to the environment. A man is in serious but stable condition after being shot by a Chicago police officer on the city's south side last night. Police say the officer had left his store near 79th and Yates and got into his vehicle. When the man approached and pointed a gun at him, the officer then shot him. Bail is denied for a man who is accused of sexually assaulting his cellmate at Cook County Jail. Prosecutors say Carlos Reese had been cellmates with the victim for about 2 weeks before the attack in 2016. Safety issues are given as the reason for the firing of the executive director of Chicago's Animal Care and Control. Mayor Emanuel's office said concern about shelter operations led to the change. They included show dogs that posed a health and safety risk. News the service of Aruba Tourism. The happy island of Aruba is nestled in the southern Caribbean outside the hurricane belt, so picture-perfect weather is practically guaranteed. Hop a daily nonstop flight from O'Hare to one happy island. Plan your Aruba vacation today at aruba.com. AM 560 news time is 8:33. Time for a dry basement and a healthy home. Time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. How bad's the traffic? We'll have the answer in 2 minutes on AM 560. The answer.
Mike Gallagher. The Mike Gallagher Show.
This is the headline at CNN.com. Donald Trump is as popular as he's ever been, parentheses, in one poll. That's the CNN News headline. I've never seen a more biased headline. You know what that one poll is they're referring to? Oh, I don't know, a little organization called Gallup. Oh, my gosh. We are in Crazyville.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
They're back. Chicago Flipping with Andrew Holmes is the show to listen, learn, share, and grow together. Learn about making serious money right now with Chicago's #1 real estate flipping team and cash flow experts. There's no sales hype or agenda, just solid information and discussion about buying, selling, flipping, and making a lot of money in real estate. Tune in every Sunday at 12 noon for Chicago Flipping with Andrew Holmes, right here on AM 560. The answer. Being successful in business means overcoming enormous obstacles to serve your customers and community. AM 560, The Answer, wants to shine a spotlight on businesses that are thriving. We want to celebrate their success by finding out what makes these businesses unique, successful, and what we can learn from them. We want to know how you built it. Presented by Chicagoland Waterproofing. To tell us how you built it, go to 560theanswer.com/built. That's 560theanswer.com/BUILT. Sponsored by Signature Bank and Ozinga.
At 8:35, checking roads from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Kevin.
Thanks, Tom. No trouble on the Edens Kennedy inbound 30 from O'Hare, 20 from the junction. Use those locals. Express are worse by 2. 22 back to the airport. The inbound Ike still recovering from the earlier crash. Heavy Displains to Costner. 50 minutes from 390 to downtown. 34 from Manheim out to 390 at 33. The inbound Stevenson. 50 from 355. 40 from the Tri-State. Coming in on the Rhine at 32 minutes. I-57 to Ford. Both clear. Northbound on Lakeshore Drive. Stop and go from the Stevenson ramp up to Grant Park. Closures in place there for Taste of Chicago setup. Northbound on the Tri-State is heavy. Plainfield to the Hinsdale Oasis. 88 to North. Southbound 355. Tight from North down to Roosevelt. Northbound Army Trail to 290. Southbound 53 from Palatine to Kirchhoff. And a clear trip in and out of Northwest Indiana. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Kevin Henry on AM 560, The Answer.
Kevin, thanks. More of Chicago's Morning Answer comes your way next. Now your official Chicagoland forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Partly sunny, more humid, high 89. Wednesday, partly sunny, hot and humid, scattered afternoon thunderstorms, high 90. Thursday, variable clouds, scattered afternoon storms, high 89. Right now it's fair, 73 degrees in O'Hare, 75 at Midway, and 71 along Chicago's lakefront. Next news update comes your way at 9 o'clock. Continuous coverage of the latest news. Traffic and weather at 560theanswer.com. Now, more of Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer. I'm Tom Beck.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
It's become a summer tradition, and it's back. It's Rockin' for the Troops. It's happening on Saturday, July 14th at Northwestern Medicine Field in Geneva. That's Kane County Cougars play. Dan and I am Dan. Amy and I will be there. The proceeds will benefit the great work of Operation Support Our Troops America as they provide support for our military men and women and their families. This year, Rockin' for the Troops features Seventh Heaven, Ayla Brown, Rock Rocky Lynn, Ryan Weaver, and the Voices. And right now we have a pair of tickets for Rockin' for the Troops to give away to caller number, what?
6
to 312-733-6993. 312-733-6993. Caller number 6 gets 2 tickets to Rockin' for the Troops, the concert July 14th at King County Cougar Stadium. You can also purchase tickets for just $25 at the box office at Northwestern Medicine Field, or go online to rockinforthetroops.org. That's rockinforthetroops.org. Okay, question: how concerned are you about the prospect of Michael Cohen, Trump's apparent longtime fixer, breaking bad on the president and his inner circle? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
Now, by breaking bad, you mean the Sammy the Bull?
Yes, that's what I mean.
You give him the Sammy the Bull.
That's what I mean. And
the Valachi.
Clinton Foundation donor Zero got an exclusive interview, apparently over some period of time, with Michael Cohen. And he was challenged to contain his enthusiasm.
He was very excited
for what Michael Cohen is saying these days versus what he had been saying about President Trump previous. Where do his loyalties lie? Stephanopoulos reporting.
One of the big questions I asked him is, what will you do if prosecutors come to you and offer you leniency in return for information on President Trump? Now, he said he wanted to respect the process, didn't get into specifics, but he added this, and he added this with emphasis. My wife, my daughter, and my son have my first loyalty and always will. I put family and country first. Nothing there about loyalty to President Trump. In fact, he didn't praise President Trump at all during that 45-minute interview.
Interestingly, he didn't praise President Trump, but he did heap praise on the FBI.
He said, I don't agree with those who demonize or vilify the FBI. I respect the FBI as an institution as well as their agency. He said, in fact, when the FBI came to his hotel suite at the Regency Hotel in Manhattan back in April, they were very courteous, they were very professional. In fact, he said when they left, he shook their hands.
And Michael Clayton is not going to be made the victim in this story.
I will not be a punching bag as part of anyone's defense strategy. I am not a villain in any story and won't allow others to try and depict me in that way.
So,
just sounds like a marmy little rat, doesn't he?
Yeah, sort of. I mean,
how about the butt kissing of the FBI? Oh, I love you guys. You guys are okay with me. Thanks for not arresting me.
This seems to be part of a legal/PR strategy to ingratiate himself to cut the best deal that he could potentially cut, at the same time as refurbishing his public image by separating himself from Trump and talking about his family and the country and the intelligence agencies, who he certainly doesn't believe this is a witch hunt.
As an American, I repudiate any foreign government's attempt to interfere in our democratic process, and I would call on all Americans to do the same. And in fact, he went on further. Remember last week, President Trump put out a tweet on the Russia investigation where he said, well, President Putin has denied these allegations, something the president had said in the past. Michael Cohen took that on directly. Simply accepting Putin's denial is unsustainable. I choose to believe our intelligence agencies. Again, a major break from President Trump.
Michael Cohen is about to become a new hero of the left, like Anthony Kennedy.
First of all, do you have a fixer? I mean, I know you have a personal shopper, but do you have a fixer?
I am my own fixer.
I think when
I'm Michael Clayton.
I think when you have a fixer, you should expect to be double-crossed. I mean this. I don't understand this whole position that we just openly accept,
the fixer,
which was a mob position.
The fixer in Billions never double-crosses Axelrod.
Right? And well, sure, we'd do better if Axelrod was actually the president. I'm for X-Cap. Let's go X-Cap to the White House.
All right, it's an obscure Billions reference. I don't know how many of our listeners watch that. But with respect to the fixer, the question is, what is he fixing, and is it illegal? And I think the supposition that Andy McCarthy had back in April when this story started to gain some traction is right. McCarthy writing at the time, I believe the government is investigating whether there was, in connection with Trump's White House bid, a conspiracy to commit fraud and extortion for the purpose of silencing potentially compromising sources, specifically people in a position to portray Donald Trump as a womanizer. He makes the note that, remember, this is a Southern District of New York investigation, not a Mueller investigation, and a federal judge would not have authorized search warrants absent finding probable cause that federal crimes may have been committed. And the federal government now, we know, has received more than 1.3 million items, files and the like, belonging to Michael Cohen, including, reported in the Washington Examiner yesterday, prosecutors recovering 16 pages of shredded documents obtained during the raid of Cohen's office and home earlier this year, handwritten notes concerning a taxing business, invitation to an event to meet business reps from Qatar, documents that appear to be apartment insurance forms, and the like. And the question is, there are multiple, and McCarthy lays this out nicely. There's a Los Angeles-based attorney named Keith Davidson who turns up representing all of the women who signed NDAs, who were essentially muzzled. And the question is, Cohen and Davidson collaborating with
slip and fall law?
Well, collaborating with Dennis Dennison, that would be Trump, and not Peggy Peterson, that would be Stormy Daniels, against the interests of, but collaborating with Trump to commit extortion and fraud to silence potential compromising or individuals with compromising information that would have been detrimental to Trump. And this is where there is some possibility here that is serious. I don't know that Trump knew anything. Michael Cohen has previously said he didn't know about the hush money payment to Stormy Daniels, that Trump didn't know about his hush money payment to Stormy Daniels. That doesn't seem credible to me, but possibly it's true. But I'm just saying that this is a serious matter. And it's one thing to dismiss the Mueller investigation where no evidence has been presented with respect to anything even approaching
and the prosecution
collusion.
Have been tainted beyond a reasonable doubt. I mean, you can't take anything they say seriously.
This is a different matter. This is a different matter, and this has at least the potential to be problematic, it seems to me. Tom in Schaumburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, problematic because it's against the law. A non-disclosure agreement is against the law if Trump does it, just like collusion is against the law if Trump does it, but not if Hillary Clinton does it. Every talking head in the media pointed out that, oh, no, wait a minute, collusion in and by itself isn't illegal when they were talking about Hillary Clinton. But now we're still talking about collusion with Donald Trump. A non-disclosure agreement is illegal. When did that happen?
Non-disclosure agreements are not illegal.
Well, that's exactly what he's being accused of.
No. Non-disclosure agreement is, in a civil matter, has civil penalties, but it's not a criminal matter. What Andy McCarthy suggests, and I agree, the Southern District of New York is looking at, is a conspiracy to commit fraud and extortion to silence people. That's not the same thing as voluntarily entering into a non-disclosure agreement.
I mean, really. We're giving a non-disclosure agreement. Tom, you know this. You're a businessman. A non-disclosure agreement is something I have to sign when I show a 33-unit building.
Yeah, right.
That's a non-disclosure agreement. A payoff scheme to a hooker shouldn't be covered by that. I'm sorry.
Well, especially when there is the prospect of extortion and fraud. Exactly. There was agreements made about getting articles placed in certain outlets. Then they would use their leverage at, for example, with National Enquirer to spike the stories. So that's.
I didn't go to Northwestern.
So that's criminal, and also there was allegations of threats made. So then you raise the prospect of extortion. Look, we're a long way from concrete evidence that implicates Trump. I'm just saying, when you've got these low-rent fixers that I'm describing, Michael Cohen, and this L.A. lawyer who specializes in people who have dirt with celebrities, this Keith Davidson, dirt on celebrities, you're talking about a lot of people who play fast and loose with the rule of law, and it could have implications that level up, particularly with sort of what you hear through Stephanopoulos, Cohen saying. That's all I'm saying.
And the shame of it is Cohen will walk free. I didn't go to Northwestern Law or Loyola, but I realized that a legal document cannot be used to cover up a corrupt, illegal activity. So I don't like the fact that everybody hides behind non-disclosure agreements.
Well, or attorney-client privilege,
exactly.
Right? If you're you're conducting or you're part of a criminal conspiracy with your attorney, then that privilege is obviated. Now, the other thing that's happening, though, too, is we don't know exactly what are privileged communications between Trump and Cohen and which are not, number one. Number two, there was an agreement in force for Trump's lawyers to be representing Cohen. That is now going away, and Cohen is bringing on his own defense attorney. Right. So, sort of that collaboration, if you will, with respect to the legal representation of Cohen is ending.
And the real scoundrel has immunity. So Cohen, who should be the guy in prison in a tutu, he'll skate free on everything.
Who has immunity?
Cohen.
Well, he doesn't have immunity yet. He's under federal investigation. He hasn't been indicted for anything yet. He hasn't been charged with anything. He doesn't have immunity.
I thought one of the first things they did was give him immunity.
No. There was no deal set, which is why it's worth noting in this Stephanopoulos interview, questions about did Trump direct you to pay Stormy Daniels? He won't answer. He won't answer substantive questions on what was done or not done, and that says something about where he. That says something about the legal strategy in conducting this interview with Stephanopoulos as part of an overall legal and PR strategy.
Yeah, I think when your job title on your desk says fixer, unless you're actually Ray Donovan, you're probably doing something wrong.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
That's it. My last weather report of the day. Today, mostly sunny with a high near 75. Tonight, partly cloudy overnight with a low around 69. Prof, can you open the windows in that palace you live in? Up on that high floor at Lake Point Towers? Can you open them?
No, all bulletproof.
Yeah, sure. Prison. Wednesday, partly sunny with a high near 83. Mostly cloudy overnight with a low around 75. Now, Kevin Hendry on traffic. Where is that guy that cut me off in that Dodge Stratus today? I didn't even know they sold those things in America. He cut me off and he gave me the finger. Please tell me he's arrested on a corner somewhere.
I haven't seen him, but he's likely out there. Eden's inbound and outbound doing okay. Kennedy inbound 30 from O'Hare, 20 from the Junction. Use those local lanes rather. The express lanes are worse. 22 minutes in the express. The Eisenhower inbound tight from Mill to 83 on the extension. Jam Displains to Costner as well. 390 to the old post office. 50 minutes 34 from Mannheim. Tight outbound 83 to 355. 16 to Mannheim 390 at 33 minutes. The inbound Stevenson 50 from 355. 40 from the Tri-State. Outbound is clear. No trouble on the outbound Ryan. Inbound taking you 32. Jam from 35th in. And the express lanes are slow from 43rd. I-57 to Ford both looking good. Northbound Lakeshore Drive tight from the Stevenson to Jackson. Closures in place in Grant Park for Taste of Chicago setup. I'm Kevin Henry in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
As a parent, you want what's best for your children. That means sending them to a school where they'll get the superior education they deserve, and that also shares your values. That can be tricky these days, as public schools have changed and private schools can be expensive. Your household budget has already been cut to the bone, and it's hard to imagine where you'll find that extra money. Well, there's help to lessen that financial burden and provide your child with the very best education at half the cost. At AM 560 The Answer, we work with private schools throughout the Chicagoland area to provide tuition for families at half the normal cost. Just log on to halfpriceschools.com and you'll find some of Chicagoland's finest private schools, from preschool all the way through high school, at half the cost. And chances are there's a school right in your neighborhood. Invest in your child's education and future at halfpriceschools.com. A limited number of half-price vouchers are available. Go to halfpriceschools.com now.
Did you know that your sump pump is the heart of your basement waterproofing system? Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. You know how many sump pumps fail? That's right, all of them. It isn't a matter of if, but rather when your pump will fail. Unfortunately, you may not realize there's a problem until your basement is flooded and you've incurred thousands of dollars in damages. At Permaseal, we make it easy to have your sump system evaluated and a reliable pump and battery backup system installed. Call Permaseal today at 800-421-SEAL to schedule your free inspection. We've received many calls from happy customers whose basement and belongings were protected during this past rainy season. But don't take our word for it. Check out our reviews with the Better Business Bureau. You'll see that many of your friends and neighbors are part of the Permaseal family. Get the peace of mind that comes with a dry basement and a healthy home. You know who to call. Permaseal. 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
Known best for being better, Permaseal.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson, and I'm impressed with the MyPillow mattress topper. There's 3 unique layers of comfort that evenly supports your body weight, helps relieve pressure points, and keeps your body temperature regulated all night, not too cold or too hot. You'll save 30%, plus when you buy a mattress topper at a discount, you can also get 2 free standard MyPillows. That's an unbelievable offer. 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off a mattress topper. Or get 1 low price on 2 MyPillows and receive free shipping. But you have to use the promo code Amy. There's a 10-year warranty on pillows and mattress toppers and a 60-day money-back guarantee. So go online or call now for these great deals and others, including 30% off pet beds, sheets, and more. Go to MyPillow.com, promo code Amy, or call 800-489-0201, promo code Amy. MyPillow.com, that's 800-489-0201. Promo code Amy.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that use Balance of Nature as well.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
The secret to how the rich keep getting richer is by passing down their wealth, generation to generation. If you do the same thing, you'll be leaving a legacy and be doing one of the most important things possible for the people you love. The ugly truth is, you don't have an estate plan. Everything you own, including your house, cars, investments, everything could be tied up in courts for a year or longer. It could cost your estate tens of thousands of dollars in probate and legal fees, even double government taxation. You can avoid this painful, costly mistake by contacting Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group. Tom hosts the Alpha Wealth Hour, heard Saturday mornings at 9 on AM 560, and has been a featured expert on Fox Business, Fortune, and Money Magazine. Right now, Alpha Wealth Group is offering you a free estate planning kit if you call 630-873-6326. That's 630-873-6326. 630-873-6326. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, Sean Spicer's coming to town. He's got a new book called The Briefing. He'll be in Chicago, an event that AM 560 is hosting Wednesday, August 8th at the Museum of Broadcast Communications on State Street. It's being presented at the event by healthinsurancementors.com, our friend C.S. Tucker. The cost of the event, it's free. Tickets are limited, though, and you must register to get yours. Go to 560theanswer.com/briefing, 560theanswer.com/briefing to get your tickets to the Sean Spicer book signing. And let's take a couple calls. We were talking about the potential impact of Michael Cohen, were he to break bad on President Trump, depending on what he has to break bad with. Jackie and Hammond, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, good morning. I just wanted to say I think there needs to be a distinction made between the activities, of the campaign or the administration versus the personal conduct of the president from before the election. But therefore, even if the investigation doesn't put Trump out of office, won't it serve as kind of an insurance policy to make sure no billionaire ever attempts this again?
Well, I don't know about that. Thanks for the call, Jackie.
It goes on the assumption that all billionaires are criminal.
Right. I mean, and it also goes on the assumption that Trump did anything criminally wrong, and we don't know that yet. I'm just saying this is an area where there should, I think, be real concern, whereas I don't think there's much concern with the Russian collusion investigation, both because of a lack of evidence and because of what you said, the destruction of the credibility of the investigators.
Hear that, Roseanne?
And the investigators. That's Sean arguing in absentia with his wife,
who called me an idiot through text messages.
Well, that's if you had a nickel.
You're married to me. Who's the dummy now?
That is not a great defense of you. It's more of an indictment. Tom in Barrington, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, fellas. First of all, happy 4th of July to you, the families, the station, and all the listeners.
Thank you, Tom. Same to you.
Hey, can we fast forward and just impeach Trump so he can get his approval rating up to 63% for managing his bimbo eruption?
I like it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the more you throw it in, the more gaudy he gets.
Let him finish his 8-year term, and then, Dan, for you, you need to get on the Bill Maher show.
No, wouldn't that be fun?
It's not quite Daniel going to the lion's den. It's more like Daniel going to the hyena den. Because if you ever watch the animal channels, look at the hyenas, and there's today's left. Yeah. Anyway, you guys, happy 4th.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. And a happy Independence Day to all of our friends in the listening audience, to Sean and his long-suffering wife, Rose. And Sean and Bruce Wolf, seriously, going to be